Redwood Brewery for only $15. Thursday, bucket of balls and beer for $15. DJ Chris P beats playing tunes and 25% off Appies in the clubhouse. The perfect way to end the workday. Aspen Links, bringing the wood Thursdays from 5 p.m. till dusk.
Welcome back to Hot Tech Heat. I'm 3 wings deep, lips numb, and I'm here on location at Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer.
What? You think that wing's spicy? Try SaskTel's blazing fast internet.
And these phones, top of the line, smooth, smart, smoking hot deals.
They got the gear, the service, and the sauce. Just don't wing it. Get connected.
Visit Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer, and moose them in today.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome, Tuesday edition of the Sports Cage, live in downtown Regina. We'll be talking about the whole province today. Thanks for making some time, whether you're listening on one of the streams that we have through the YouTube channel at sportscage.com or the radio, 620 CKRM. We love when you're sending in your harvest pictures as well. So if you're out there harvesting, getting the crop off, ladies and guys, let us know. Engagement always on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. Power tools, gardening tools, generators, welding, big items, doesn't matter. They can rent you anything. 600 Albert Street. You get to deal with the owner. They're local. 936-6262 is that number you're going to keep handy today. We want you on the Prairie Land text line today. As for the show, Riders are on a bye week. How's everyone doing today? I know yesterday we were a little saucy. A lot of you messaging in saying that can't happen again. And then some people, like Fonzie's, cool, saying one game, we're still all right. We'll take your comments. I'll read them. If they're error-worthy, we'll talk Riders. The one thing I'm going to talk about, and we're going to bring our co-host in, who hasn't been with us in a while, in a bit. High school football is buzzing right now around Saskatchewan. We're big. We're a big high school football province. There's no doubt about it. I started thinking last night, popular or the All-Stars when we were all in high school. If you didn't go to high school, then I apologize. Play along anyway. But when you went to high school, there was always a couple of, even if you didn't play football, you're like, ooh, that guy's really good. He goes to this school or that guy's there. We're not excluding the small towns as well. 6-a-side football, 9-a-side, or those are just straight athletes. I want to know. Let's throw out names today for the next 3 hours. High school football players, if there was a Saskatchewan High School Football Hall of Fame that we could put guys in. We'll talk some hockey today. Again, with the Rider bye week, WHL season starting this weekend, SJHL. John Keane is going to join us. He's the voice of the Kamloops Blazers. He also is the host of the Blaze podcast. He's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the Western Hockey League, originally from Lanigan, Saskatchewan, called games in Swift Current. Like I said, he's now the play-by-play guy of the Kamloops Blazers. John Keane's going to be with us about 3:40. Hour 2, Arash Madani. We'll talk some CFL football with Arash. We will talk Major League Baseball. Probably get into a little NFL there. It's Tuesday, so that means Trivia Day for Pump Jacks Cathedral, 13th and Albert in Regina. Colson, we're playing for $50 today, right? We're playing for $50 at Pump Jacks Cathedral. It's going to be a rider-based question, and the hint I will give you, it's based on one of the Rough Rider championship teams. You're going to have to call in when I give you the cue. We'll take a caller. You got 10 seconds to answer. If no one wins at 50, it's 100 next Tuesday. And even if you don't lose, we have sub prize of a lunch. You get a lunch at Pump Jacks Cathedral. Again, 13th and Albert. They do trivia on Tuesdays there as well. Live entertainment on the weekends. I heard their new broccoli cheddar soup is off the charts. Dennis Beyak in hour 2. He's a legendary hockey voice, called a lot of Team Canada, Winnipeg Jets, Saskatoon Blades. He also did some management. We're going to talk about the Western Canada Professional Hockey Scouts event coming up September 30th here in Regina, celebrating Indigenous hockey with Dennis Beyak. Hour 3, we have Glen Suitor, and then WHL with Nick Nielsen, play-by-play voice of the PA Raiders. We're going to start our WHL previews with the boys up north, the Prince Albert Raiders. It is for Saskatchewan Lotteries on Tuesday, the main fundraiser for sport, culture, and recreation in our province. A guy that hasn't been with us for a while, my former co-host on Global Television in Saskatoon, Chris Harris, is back with us. Now my monitor's not working here, so I'm just going to have to hear you, Harry. I hear you're doing well. It's been a while, my friend. You've been holidaying it. You've been really taking advantage of the holiday season.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to take a few days here and there to golf and travel and generally not work.
I love it. And your golf trips. When you go on golf trips, it's not like heading to Moose Jaw, heading to Kenosee. You went some places overseas, England, and then you just got back from Kelowna. I love it, though. Kudos to you. We haven't talked Riders with you in a long time. Now, a lot of people, house was burning and running out. It's like, third loss of the season. Last weekend against Montreal, we're 10-3. It's a pretty good record. I don't know, when we were talking in May, and I said this to Maz yesterday, if we go come mid-September, we're 10-3. We would have taken that all day.
Yeah, absolutely. There shouldn't be too much hand-wringing going on. I know that the popular consensus going into last week was surely the Riders are not going to lose to a Montreal team that doesn't have a quarterback at home when they're 10-2. So, but I mean, things happen. I mean, they're still 10-3. Nothing to get too excited about. They exposed maybe a few things that the Riders need to work on defensively and in the secondary, and so we'll see. Let's see if it happens again, and then we can start getting a little bit worried.
I like the play by Jeremy O'Day and the scouting staff, where Sunday they released that they're bringing in Sheldrick Redwine, a big defensive back with NFL experience, to help, because I think we know this in Riderville for sure. Every team's knowing this. You can't be too deep. You can't be too deep in the CFL. Yeah, you got to worry about the salary cap, but at the end of the year, if you're hoisting that jug, are you going to lose any sleep about the salary cap?
Yeah, exactly. And anybody that they're going to bring in surely isn't going to command that much do-re-mi that they're going to put them up against the salary cap or anything like that. So I'm sure they've left themselves a little bit of wiggle room that nobody needs to get too excited about pressing up against that cap space.
They're in the bye week, and I wanted to start with this because I was thinking, we're into September. I know the last time the Riders went on the bye, and Luke talked about this, they were in Montreal, and it's like, what a great place to start a bye week, where easy to get out, easy to fly home if you're from down south, and then Montreal's just an absolute buzzsaw of a city as well. But and Luke talked about how they would stick around here and they would go fishing and they'd go find a cabin somewhere and they'd go do that, much like you're up north right now. After the game on Saturday, our broadcast team, talking to AJ Ouellette, he let in kind of what his plan was for the bye week. If you missed it, here it is. AJ Ouellette. Oh, Colson can't read it. We're gonna cue it up. 3, 2, and 1.
Chilling for the first couple days. I'm going to hang out here, watch a little bit of film, recover. And then I think we're going to go on a little cabin trip with a couple of the guys 3 hours northeast of here, still in Saskatchewan, not Manitoba. So just going to enjoy, some of the land. Hopefully there's a lake around there. I'm not too sure about the area yet. Fishing, hunting, maybe.
I hope there's a lake. I hope it's just not a cabin in the middle of a field near Waka. Here, this is where you are. But that's great to hear. The guys getting away, enjoying some of Saskatchewan. Harry, if I ask you, up until this point, and as a guy who you watch the Rider games, you're a football fan. Doesn't matter what kind of football. Has there been a surprise player or something that surprised you with the Roughriders so far this season?
I would have to say, just on a general basis, I've been pleasantly surprised with the receiving core and just how, even if it's been not the lineup that they wanted, that they've found a way to get guys the ball, and they've been solid contributors. Every guy that's stepped up into the hole that they've needed. I like that. It's definitely been, I think, the surprise, because I know that the concern at the start of the year was, they've got great depth, but then they got tested early with guys going down, and they managed to answer the call and carry the load for the team. I mean, having Trevor Harris thrown to you doesn't hurt, but I feel like that's probably been the surprise for me, is it just that they managed to live up to the expectations.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. And Maz, we kind of skirted it yesterday, where there's some people saying, well, Harris actually hasn't been playing that well, or Harris has digressed, and it's like, it is a long season. Like, there are going to be ups and downs, and a guy that's back there slinging it, and you got to be on point all the time. The amount of tape that a quarterback in any league, you go down to the Regina Rams and Thunder, and I'm sure what they're going through. Like, I don't fault him at all. If anything, I would have expected more of a dip at some point here from Harris and that offense. Now, the one thing is they definitely have been starting slow, and that's been documented. But, is that maybe a thing right now? If they start slow in November, then I'll be a little bit worried, or late October. But, yeah, Harris is good. I think with the Kean Schaefer-Baker, how close is he to getting back? And I know people text in and they ask that question. I don't know. And I would think that it's got to be soon. But we're going to add that Canadian content. CRTC will be happy into the fold at some point. So that'll be good. Yesterday we kind of went off. We got exposed a little bit in that game. Whatever. All I know is there was no way that I took the Riders -8.5. That's how confident I was. So you're going to look any further than me on how bad that was. The other thing we're going to talk about before we go to break, we're going to let people think here today. Because high school football is in full effect right now, we have our Friday Night Lights episode coming up tomorrow. It's brought to you by Warren Steinley, MP for Regina Louvain, always on Saskatchewan's side. High school football players from the past. So now, Harry, you graduated in 90. I think we can say it. We're not hiding anything here.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. 94.
I hate when people get all offensive with that. Oh, don't say my age. It's like, you're getting old. Just how it works.
I'm an old man. Whatever. Who cares?
1994, you would have graduated high school. That would have been 1995. We are from Saskatoon. That doesn't mean we didn't hear the names from down in Regina. But rural Saskatchewan, I would say maybe not so much. And still until I started working in small town radio in and around Swift Current, and I learned the 9-man game. But right first name, Harry, when you think of high school football, And maybe even when we were covering it at Global, because we were all over high school football and Global. It was so much fun. What's one name? I know it's going to be tough, but what's one name?
Oh, God. The first name that comes to mind is Brent Schneider. I think if I had to think of somebody who was a prolific high school and then junior and then university player, Brent Schneider, I think, is at the top of the list. He won so many accolades. That's the first guy off the top of my list. He's won the Vanier MVP 3 times.
That is a stat. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Like he is about as big of a legend, I think, in the football game in Saskatchewan or Saskatoon as you can get.
And was he a Holy Cross?
Yeah, I believe so.
With Dan Farthing, weren't they around the same vintage?
Oh, sorry, Schneider was Walter Murray.
Oh, Schneider was Murray.
Yeah, Dan Farthing was same vintage. Dan Farthing was Holy Cross.
The one, and just because I remember, and it would have been, I think we were grade 11 at Bedford Road Collegiate, and we actually had a pretty good team, and I played offensive side of the ball, but our linebackers were pumped up to play this guy, but I think deep down they didn't want to play this guy, and he was from Walter Murray Collegiate in Saskatoon. He went on to play junior. I don't think he ever played past that. Could be wrong. Sheldon Duval.
Yeah, for sure.
He ran roughshod or rigshod, if you're a Nooner fan, over everyone. And then, and I know I only gave one, but the other guy, and he was down the road at Holy Cross, and I want to say people in Regina and around would have remembered this guy because it was Tony Chad. High school running back, Holy Cross. And then I got to thinking of I'm getting more text messages on my own phone right now. It's going off. And guy just messaged this name, and you're going to remember this one, Harry, on the defensive side. Let's play Harry and Barney trivia here. Defensive side of the ball linebacker from Walter Murray.
Ty Mounty?
Yes. Yeah. He was feared. There was no doubt about it. 936-6262. Prairie Land Rentals text line. High school football. We want to hear from the rural crowd as well, because I know there were a number of 9-a-side, 6-a-side players back in the day. Oh, look at some of these text messages and names coming in. You can have your say. Let's hear it. We'll take a quick break. It is the Sports Cage. We're streaming at sportscage.com, and we are on 620 CKRM.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. Combined with a LiftMaster opener, it's the right choice. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. And a LiftMaster opener. 100% made by Canadians for Canadians. Steady, tariff-free pricing and great quality, no matter what.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Did you know over 1.3 million homeowners call on Reliance for their water heater needs? With over 140,000 5-star online reviews and over 60 years experience, you could say Reliance Heath are water heater experts. Switch to Reliance Heath today. They'll give you $200 plus standard installation is included. For all your hot water needs,
call on Reliance.
Visit waterheaterrentals.com for details. Terms and conditions apply.
Affordability in Canada is getting worse. Canadians are now paying nearly half their paycheck towards taxes. That's more than on food, clothing, and shelter combined. It's unacceptable. Conservatives stand with hardworking Canadians and will take aim at the affordability crisis by bringing down taxes, cutting spending towards needless bureaucracy and consultants, and fight for fiscal discipline in this Liberal government. My name is Warren Steinley, your Conservative Member of Parliament for Regina Leuven, and I will always be on Saskatchewan's side.
Paid ad by Warren Steinley.
Sweater weather is here, and winter's not far behind. The last thing you want is your furnace quitting on the coldest night of the year. That's where Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling comes in. Their trained technicians will make sure your furnace is ready to keep you warm all winter long. Fast, reliable, and professional service, so you can enjoy winter without surprises. Book your service or explore their protection plans today at 781-2090 or visit broncoplumbing.com. Bronco, they'll treat you right.
For an RTM home that doesn't look like an RTM home, check out Olympic RTMs. Built just minutes outside Regina, Olympic RTMs has modern, stylish new homes with clean lines that are ready to move within 6 months. Your new home is waiting for you at olympicrtm.ca.
Saskatchewan, it's time to talk sports. Sportscage is on the air. Be part of the show. Call 936-6262 or toll free 1-866-767-0620. And we're always online at sportscage.com. 620 CKRM.
Welcome back to the Sports Cage on this Tuesday for Saskatchewan Lotteries. Harry co-hosting with me. Coulson's in the pocket. We're having some fun with high school football names. Also today, we started this yesterday and we got 2 more today. Sports Cage giveaway time. Got trivia coming up later. We have 2 tickets to the March 1st show in Saskatoon at SaskTel Center. Big Wreck. Econoline Crush, but the headliner, live. Throwing Copper. What an album. Although yesterday somebody messaged in and they said Dolphins Cry, which was on it was the 3rd album.
Lakini's Juice.
What was it?
Lakini's Juice was the name of the album.
That's right. Dolphins Cry was a decent song. There were a couple of good ones on that one. Yeah. But 936-6262 throughout the day. Again, today you got to let us know your favorite live song or Big Wreck song or Econoline Crush song. But you might get moved up top of the list a little bit with some live songs and be unique. We're talking about great Saskatchewan high school football players from all time. I got Chad in Regina says, again, I know a few names from Regina back in the day. Mike Smith, that's a very common name. He went to, I think it says Tom. So Chad in Regina says Mike Smith went to Tom. You know the one Regina name, Harry, and I think this was around our time in high school, not our time up in TV there, was Kennedy Nikiasen. Does that name ring a bell to you?
Yeah, but I can't give you any details. Just the name does sound familiar.
Text message on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, Neil Hughes. Yes, another had a great football career around Saskatchewan.
I'll give you one. You one, which is arguably, I'm surprised it hasn't come in on the text yet.
From where?
I mean, God, I went down a rabbit hole.
Is he from North Battleford?
North Battleford.
Oh, I know who you're going to say.
Yeah, Ruben Mays, right?
It's hard. That one is hard to believe when, because that would have been like elementary school when he was running around with the New Orleans Saints. Is that where he played NFL?
88.
Like, I couldn't wrap my head around even into the 90s on how this guy from North Battleford, Saskatchewan, was playing running back in the NFL.
It's crazy.
It couldn't come to me. Speaking of North Battleford, they had a really good program for a number of years. You know who was a good football player? North Battleford. I think we are both 77 birth dates because we played a lot of hockey against each other. And I don't remember playing him in football, but his father was the coach there forever. Might have even coached Ruben Mays, Don Hodgins. Ryan Hodgins, head coach of the Regina Pats Canadians, was a really good football player. The late Craig Borgenson was a running back. I think that's what he said his name. I remember him. I wrote it down from North Battleford. Sandy Martin, big offensive lineman there. And then your buddy, wasn't he from North Battleford, Neil Sandecki?
Yep. Yeah, he's from Battleford, yeah.
He was a safety, defensive back. He went on to play junior. Did he play college?
No, just Hilltops.
Yeah. North Battleford had a really, really, really good football program. Prairie Land Rentals text line, Tyler Sievertson from Evan Hardy.
Yep.
How come I don't remember that name?
He was a running back. Really good. Yeah. I can't remember if he went on to play it. I'll give you another one. We'll move forward a little bit. This goes back to our global days. This is a guy who had so much potential, but was riddled with injuries, and he had the worst luck with injuries. He went to Aiden Bowman. He rushed for 321 yards in his final game as a senior. He went on to play U of S, but then he also ran into more injuries. He broke his ankle in grade 10. So he played as a grade 9 kid, as a running back, as a starting running back on the senior football team.
Wow.
Broke his ankle, missed 2 years, then rushed, had a great senior year, went to U of S, got hurt, only played 8 games there in his career because I think he had knee issues. Mark Klaus.
I remember that name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really.
He's kind of one of those guys that's like, what could have been? And then I think the Huskies hoped he would lead their program, but it was just one of those guys that just had the worst luck when it came to injuries.
Playing running back in grade 9 football, and I know what happens, and I'm sure it happens more so in the small towns where they don't have a ton of bodies, but that's a tough ask in 12-man in City Evan Hardy, a big school. Here's one, Harry. And I think this would have been our global days. And I just totally forgot that he went on to play for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Holy Cross Crusader, I'm almost positive. You'll correct me if I'm wrong. Slot back, Scott McHenry.
Yeah. Played at Holy Cross. Played Huskies.
Receiver? Did he play receiver at Cross? Or was
he was like
running
tight
back?
end. Tight end. Yeah.
Yeah, he went on to a nice career too with the Huskies.
Yeah. He was a
CFL. Regina.
There's so many.
Some Regina guys texting in here on the text line. Connor Cisco, Jared Fry, Chris Rasmussen. Looks like those were Winston Knoll.
I think
sorry, go ahead.
I think your biggest Regina guy has to be Scott Flory, no?
Is he from Regina? Is he from the city of Regina?
He went to high school at Regina Leopoldus.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean...
Then Huskies, then Montreal.
Yeah, CFL, now back U of S. It's like...
I didn't know he went to Leopoldus.
He's Saskatchewan football royalty for sure.
Text message here. Oh, this was pre-us. Like this is pre. I think we're in elementary school, but this guy's name, and did he play in the CFL? Dwayne Demetrician.
Yeah, He did play in the CFL. He won back-to-back Grey Cups with the Argos in 96, 97.
Argos. That's right.
He was on my list. So he scored 3 touchdowns at Marion Graham when they won the high school championship. Then he went on and won a Vanier with the Huskies in 1990. And then he won back-to-back Grey Cups in 96, 97 with the Argos. So he's just a winner. He wins at every level.
What's he doing now? Any idea?
I have no idea.
Dwayne Demetrician. Don't get me to try and spell that. Harry's our spelling guy.
There's 3. I think there's 4 Y's in it. I know that much.
Okay, so this is one. If you're just tuning in, 936-6262, we're talking about high school football royalty, high school football greats from Saskatchewan. Doesn't matter. If you're texting in, let us kind of know a year. Because unfortunately we don't remember everybody that played high school football in the province. Is tough. So here's a guy that I've gotten a couple of texts to my personal phone about, and this would have been, I think it's 6-man from Raymore, Saskatchewan. Both people said he was a human cheat code. Chad Degelman, great hockey family as well. Just athletic family. You want to keep your nose clean around the Degelmans from Raymore, if you know what I mean. Chad Degelman and Raymore, and I guess somebody texted, they used to have their cameraman for their team back in high school should have went on to shoot NFL games. He was that good back in the day. We got a few votes for a Chad Degelman. We need more 6-a-side and more 9-a-side.
I'll give you one.
Okay.
I got a 6-man for you.
Ooh.
Brian Giebert.
Humboldt?
Brian Giebert went to Outlook. He went to LCBI. He was a defensive MVP in the 99 Can-Am Bowl. Outstanding defensive lineman at the Senior Bowl in 99. Went on to win championships with the Hilltops. Then went on to the CFL. Was drafted by the Riders. Was a practice roster player with them, left for a few years, and then came back in the league with Winnipeg. Small.
Forgot about that. It's very short.
Unreal athletics. He's one of those guys that you see as a professional wrestler that is short, stocky, but unbelievably, they're doing moonsaults off the top rope and things like that. Like, he was that kind of guy, and smart. Super smart. I think he was on like the CIS all academic team.
Wow.
Super, super bright guy. Super nice, unbelievable football player.
Here's a
6-man.
name. They didn't leave their name or number. I remember this name. Ryan Barnstable. 80 model from Loreburn. Won 2 6-man provincial championships. Played Huskies. All-Canadian corner, coaching 6-man now in Hafford, Saskatchewan. Best player I've ever played against. Good text. Great text.
Yep. Know the name.
Yeah.
Remember him with the Huskies. With the Huskies, for sure.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just getting to some of these other...
Here's another guy from small town. From Humboldt, Saskatchewan. Went on to a CFL career as an offensive lineman. The BC Lions won a Grey Cup.
Oh, did
also
beauty.
Played Hilltops.
Beauty. Bouncer at the Patricia Hotel.
Kelly Bates.
Heck of a bouncer at the Patricia Hotel back in the day. Yeah.
It is crazy when you start looking at the quarterbacks and stuff that we produce in this province, but also I think the guys that have had the most success are either the O lineman or D lineman.
Yeah.
And Kelly Bates is one of those guys.
Brent in Saskatoon just threw out who your first, I don't know if he was your first guy almost, Ruben Mays from North Battleford. I predict we're going to get a lot throughout the 3 hours, a lot of people with Ruben Mays. You know another guy that was really good in high school, and I think it was around our age, and he might have graduated in 94? Graduated onto the Hilltops. Then I think Huskies. Sheldon Ball?
Yep. Went to Holy Cross. Yeah.
Holy Cross.
Hilltops and Huskies.
Brad Williamson was a quarterback at our first Marion Graham entry.
So the thing about Williamson is him and Kelly McNairn were unbelievable receiver quarterback combo.
I was in grade 11.
Those two were probably, I mean, I'm talking about a small time frame here, but I would arguably say they're probably the most prolific quarterback and passing combination that in high school sports history for sure.
Kelly McNair. I totally forgot about that guy's name. They were setting records that year as well. We're gonna keep this going. Keep the text messages coming. we got a few good ones coming in here. Names I've never heard of. When we get back, we're gonna talk some WHL hockey. The season is around the corner. I'm curious on some NCAA WHL things with this guy, John Keane, originally from Lanigan, Saskatchewan, is going to join us. It is the Sports Cage. We're the home of local sports in Saskatchewan. We're streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com, and we're on 620 CKRM.
For over 105 years, Athol Murray College of Notre Dame in Wilcox has shaped leaders who have changed the world. From its humble prairie beginnings, the school has produced over 215 NHL players, 9 Order of Canada recipients, and countless leaders in the area of business, science, the arts, and citizenship. Grit, heart, and determination are the Hounds' legacy. Limited spaces are still available for the 2025-26 school year. To learn more and to apply, please visit notredame.ca today.
Sask Lotteries has over 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
SaskToday.ca is your local news source, proudly serving communities all across Saskatchewan. Sask Today's team of local journalists are on the ground focusing on local topics that matter to you. From agriculture, local community news, sports, and more. Find it all at SaskToday.ca. Sign up for our daily news digest at SaskToday.ca. From Harvard Media, everywhere.
Employee pricing has been extended at Capital GMC.
Capital GMC!
But what does it all mean?
You pay what we pay.
For limited time, get employee pricing on any new GM vehicle in stock. This special offer is exclusively available at Capital GMC. Or check out our certified pre-owned inventory. They all come with 30-day exchange privilege, manufacturer's warranty, and more. Don't miss your last chance at employee pricing. Now available on any new vehicle. Only at Capital GMC.
There's something we need to talk about: debt. I know it can be an uncomfortable topic, but the truth is most of us carry some form of debt, and we are ashamed to talk about it. My name is Jasmine Brown, a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Regina. Every day, people struggling with debt come to me for a solution. When you make that call, I'll listen to your story without judgment and will lead you to a debt-free future. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. From skid steers to tents to power tools, anything you need to rent for that summer job is at Prairie Land Rentals. Deal with the owner, 600 Albert Street. If it's happening in sports in Saskatchewan, we've got it covered on Sports Cage. Be part of the show. Call 936-6262 or toll free 1-866-767-0620. On your radio at 620 CKRM and online at sportscage.com.
Welcome back to the Sports Cage on this Tuesday for Saskatchewan Lotteries, a Rider bye week, but we're still talking football. High school football greats in Saskatchewan. Who do you remember out there? Text messages are coming in. We're going to get to some of those in a moment, but let's get fired up here with some WHL talk. We're going out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek favorites you love, like ribs, salads, souvlaki. Western Pizza. Visit the nearest one around you tonight. Okay. John Keane from Lanigan, Saskatchewan. via Swift Current. He's at John Keane NL Sports on Twitter, and he does the Blaze podcast. Keener, did you guys have tackle football back in your day in Lanigan?
No, we did not. I don't know why. A town of about 1,500, and the best we could muster up was like flag football in middle school. That's all we could do. So I'd love to reminisce about all these great high school football players I played with and against, but I won't be able to add much into your conversation today, fellas. Sorry.
What about when we worked in Swift Current together? And, the SWAC.
I'm not sure the Colts won a game when I was in Swift. I know they're a powerhouse now. But, Barney, you and I used to hit the road and do those SWAC football broadcasts on CJSN down in Shaunavon. And a couple of names that came to my mind were the Gull Lake the Gull Lake Lions. Is that what they were?
Yeah.
Remember the running back, Joe McGee? He would just go wild every game. Yeah.
Was it John McGee?
It was Joe.
Joe McGee?
I think it was Joe. Yeah, I think there was a bunch of McGees. And they just handed the ball off to him, and he just ran the length of the field. They wouldn't touch him if it was flag football, and they would win the SWAC title again. That's what they did.
I am so glad that you remembered that name, John, because I was trying to think of the running back from Gull Lake. That was amazing. Oh, solid.
Hey, I remember all the stories when we used to work together here. You probably don't, but I remember them all, okay?
Yeah. And then remember Fred Farnsworth. He's like a radio guy at CJSN or whatever, and he would always say, "The Gull Lake Lions, they don't rebuild. They don't rebuild.
They reload."
Yeah, they don't rebuild. They reload.
Yeah.
And
they were a powerhouse.
That was my first, foray into 9-man or 6-man, whatever it was, and the athleticism on the kids. I was like, well, no wonder so many of these kids go on to play Hilltops and junior football and whatnot. Okay, we'll put football on the side. Keener, if you come up with any other names, let them fly.
Think about it.
This is how many years have you been calling Western Hockey League action now?
It's like 22, 3. I don't know, something like that. Yeah.
This year a little bit different in the fact with this NCAA and the McQueens, the McKennas, and so on, Reshneys, all that going down. Is it different, and are you seeing the change where there's so many Americans now coming up to play in the league?
Yeah, no doubt. In my time, this has been the strangest offseason. You're so used to knowing what you're getting back, and the only real hurdle you had is if the NHL team was going to keep your player at 18 or 19. Otherwise, you knew that he was coming back. And there's some wins and some losses throughout the league. You mentioned those names as well. But some teams have done fairly well on the other side of it. There's going to be years where teams are going to feel good about what they have, and there's going to be years where they just feel like their top line and their top defenseman got taken from them. And we'll see how this all plays out. It's year one. But, I can just reference here in Kamloops, the Blazers were able to recruit perhaps the top 2008-born American forward, J.P. Hurlburt, who led the preseason in goals for first-year players. He's out of Allen, Texas. He could be a potential first-round NHL pick. So, you mentioned the players on one side of it, guys, but on the other side of it, you can see some wins, if you are able to recruit some of these guys.
Yeah, that's a definite. As you get into the season here, and you had camp with the American kids coming up, families, and I'm sure Kamloops is a nice place to lay your head for sure. But you mentioned a kid from Dallas, Texas. There's some kids that are going to be coming up with their families to some of these smaller communities in the Western Hockey League and the CHL in general, where it's nice right now, but hey, give us a shout back mid-February when you're on the bus for 8 hours.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I would say that, I've seen some rosters. Prince Albert landed a really good one that maybe Nick Nielsen will tell you about a little bit later on, American player Heisey. Prince George was just down for preseason games. And, hey, I love Prince George, but that wouldn't be my favorite destination in the middle of wintertime.
They had 3 or 4 Americans as well on their roster. So that's one of the furthest outposts you could imagine. And some of these franchises have done pretty well so far, at least getting in the camp. And, if they're talented enough, signing that WHL contract.
John, do you think that this exodus and this concern over this will just be a kind of a flash in the pan and we'll lose momentum over once a few years have gone by? Or do you think it's sustainable and this is the future now?
I don't know. That's a good question. We really don't know where this is going. And at some point, you'd have to think that Hockey Canada will say enough is enough of our top 18-year-old players leaving our country and going to play NCAA. I just don't see that as a permanent thing that Hockey Canada is going to swallow for the end of time. So how do they counter that? What do they do? Is there some sort of monetary, number available for some of these players if they play World Juniors, let's say? Is there money on the table for some of these first-round draft picks to keep them at 18, 19? At some point, push is going to come to shove and say, hey, we can't have our top guys going. Now guys are, maybe even speeding up that high school process, so they could be eligible. We see Keaton Verhoff at 17, who will be a first-round NHL pick, go to UND from the Victoria Royals. So I think at some point it's going to swing back the other way. But it's just a matter of what are they going to do to counteract sort of this free-for-all that we're seeing. And, I'm not saying it's good or it's bad, guys. I mean, I didn't sign up for the top players in the WHL to check out at 18 or 19, but I think we're going to see, some sort of counteractive measure that'll go in place here in the next year or two to try and retain some of these top guys.
Verhoff's only 17 and he's going?
Yeah.
Because one of the things I was going to ask is there an age limit to be attending in NCAA?
You have to be eligible for NCAA school. Like you have to finish high school and be able to get your grades and submitted, right? So you need to actually be finished high school. But that said, we're seeing some players and some people sort of expedite that high school process so they can be eligible quicker.
And that was kind of my next question was, what is it going to take for the pendulum to swing back the other way? Is it going to be a financial thing? Like, is the CHL going to have to become creative and think of ways to incentivize kids to stay? Like, have you heard anything in terms of just even anecdotally, like, hey, what about this? Is that kind of out of the box thinking in order to retain these kids?
Well, I mean, just for example, money is talking a lot here, guys. Like you can talk about, I'm sorry, you can talk about Gavin McKenna and Medicine Hat and what's the best developmental path and all that stuff. But when someone lands a $750,000 American check in your agent's pocket, what are you going to do, right? And some of the going rates or some of the other players, maybe some of the depth players that have left, the number isn't known for sure, but we're talking probably $40,000, $50,000 for some of these other guys. And how expensive hockey is through the academies and through all of that here. If there's an opportunity, money talks, guys. If the competition down the street offered you, $30,000 more, you probably take it, right? That's just life. So I think when it comes down to it, dollars are going to be dollars. So do you compensate players? Those World Junior tournaments make a lot of money when they're hosted in Canada. Yeah. Is there a bit of a fund there that could be tapped into to say, okay, we can maybe compensate some of our players if they make Canada's World Junior team, or look at some other creative ways to try and, find a way to retain some players, even if it, costs some dollars.
John Keene's
What about from? Oh,
sorry, John Keene's joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline, voice of the Kamloops Blazers, and he also does the Blaze podcast. Harry, go ahead because I can leave mine for last.
I guess in that vein, what about? And this has just popped into my head, so I haven't fleshed it out. What if they made it prohibitive if you weren't playing in the CHL to play on the World Juniors? Would that be punishing Hockey Canada? Would that be punishing Canada's junior team? Or what if that was a wrinkle or a caveat where if you're playing south of the border, you're ineligible for World Juniors?
Yeah, it's something to look at, right? But I just don't know. You have to look at what's the unintended consequences of that, right? Like, obviously Canada measures our value as a nation of winning gold medals in the Olympics and World Junior titles for whatever reason, right? This is our This is our game. It's our identity. And I don't know if you want to start getting into that. But, you know, there seemed to be a lot of money around the COVID times for sport and things like that from the government. You know, like, this is just me saying this. Like, you know, if hockey is so important to our national identity, well, then maybe it's on some sort of government, you know, dime to support this. You know, like these NCAA teams have huge financial backing. I mean, a lot of it is from taxpayers. A lot of it is from their state or whatever, or municipal. You know, a lot of it's from donors, from the alumni. These junior hockey teams don't have those sort of deep pockets when it comes to raising things up. So this is just throw things on the wall and see where it sticks, but we'll see if there is some changes on that front.
Last one for me, John, here is I was following your Twitter thread the other day, and very interesting. It was Jeff Merrick. That are you hearing, correct me if I'm wrong, that the CHL is starting to maybe play a game where NCAA scouts and not letting them into rooms or access to teams in some places?
Well, I think what they've done is they've left it up to each individual team to decide the access that NCAA recruiters have. And, you know, the story you're referencing was, you know, some teams in the CHL will no longer be providing a scouts pass or a game pass for some of these recruiters. Do I think I don't think that's the right way to go about it. They said they want to say, hey, buy a ticket if you want to watch these players that you're after. But I think what I think a lot of people are taking exception of is, you guys know how sacred a hockey dressing room is, right? I mean, it's sacred ground. And I don't know, maybe they do this in the USHL or the NAHL or one of those other, we call them 4-letter leagues. But I don't know if you just march in and say like, hey, with your clipboard and be like, just right after the coach is done and be like, Stevens, Thompson, come with me. Like, I don't know if that's the way they do it down there, but I know heck that they don't do that way in the Western League. Okay. So I think that's what we were seeing. We were seeing some of these recruiters like just kick the door in and be like, hey, I'm here to save the day, everybody. Come chat with me out in the hallway. So I think that's where we saw a lot of these issues, that we're seeing a reactionary approach from the CHL.
Okay. And then last one. This is a quick one. Do you think Maddox Schultz and his agent have been approached already?
Well, I mean, I think there's a certain age group where you're not allowed to approach someone. I think it's something about their 16th birthday. I don't know the legalities of that. I'm not versed on the NCAA recruiting side based on my junior hockey loyalties, but I'm sure. I mean, Landon DuPont down in Everett.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's going to be a lot of talk over the next few years here to see where it goes.
Always a pleasure, Keener. Thanks for making time. We'll have to do this again quick. Safe travels as you get the season fired up there. We appreciate it. And thanks again for dropping Joe or John McGee's name. That saved me a lot of head work.
I'm happy it didn't take me much longer here because, you know, I'm probably already 2 holes behind. I got to go catch up to the group here. So I'll be the guy running down the fairway with the golf clubs here to catch up on the 3rd hole.
There he is, voice of the Kamloops Blazers. He also does the Blaze podcast at John Keane NL Sports on Twitter. He's always got the scoop. He's a great follow, and former color commentator of the Gull Lake Lions and Shaunavon Shadows on CJSN. John Keane. We'll go to break here. It is a Sportscage. We are streaming at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM.
Hey, let's hit up Pump Jack's Cathedral.
Pump? You talking about my basketball shoes?
No, Pump Jack's Cathedral.
Who?
Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. They're open now. They've got a large selection of local draft and food and drink specials. Kids are allowed until 8. There's live entertainment every weekend.
Let's go. I'm pumped.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
Have you ever tried convincing a 1,000-pound animal to walk half a mile for a drink? Yeah, good luck with that. Cows aren't moving, and frankly, they don't care about your schedule. So instead of turning your pasture into a full-blown cattle negotiation summit, install a Keln solar livestock watering system. You can drop a pump just about anywhere. No grid, no trenching, no drama. So let the cows chill. You move the water. Keln Solar. They move water because your cows won't. Visit kelnsolar.com.
Sask Lotteries has over 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
This summer, if you're thinking of a new building, think Olympic Buildings. They're engineered from top to bottom to be better than the rest. Strength, solid design, and impressive good looks are all standard on an Olympic farm building. Visit olympic-buildings.ca.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. For all your hot water needs, call on Reliance Heath today.
Sounds like Zach Collaros was limited at Bomber practice today. Let me Chris Strevler starting again for the Bombers, probably. Grey Cup odds. If you missed it, the Riders favorite at 275. Hamilton next, and then Calgary. Major League Baseball tonight. Blue Jays, Tampa Bay Rays. Again, the magic number now for the Jays is 7. High school football. Highway 22 in Lemberg, 4 p.m. Lemberg, in their 2 games, they've outscored their opponents 142-14. There's a stat for you. Sportscage.com poll today. Who was the best Saskatchewan Roughrider quarterback of the last 40 years who has never won a Grey Cup? Vote at sportscage.com. Our number 1 sports ticker for Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Keeping you in hot and soft water. Call on Reliance. Hour 2. More of your text messages on high school football greats from Saskatchewan. And we're also going to talk to Arash, Madani, and Pump Jacks Cathedral Trivia Time. It's a Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
Proudly broadcasting from Treaty 4 territory, the homeland of the Dakota, Nakota, Lakota, Saulteaux, and on the homeland of the Métis Nation. We are 620 CKRM Regina, a Harvard media station.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Corey Atkinson from the SaskToday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM news. RCMP have confirmed that a second vehicle was hit by gunfire during the fatal September 12th shooting on Highway 39 northwest of Weyburn. A 44-year-old woman died after shots were fired into the Ford Explorer that she was riding in. Police say another SUV behind that vehicle was also struck, with a tire leader found damaged by a bullet. No injuries were reported. Investigators are appealing to the public for information to help with the case. Saskatchewan NDP members are urging Premier Scott Moe to remove MLA Doug Steele as caucus chair following testimony in a human trafficking case. Court evidence suggested Steele messaged the victim, deleted records, and did not contact authorities despite concerns. The case involves 2 men facing trafficking and sexual assault charges. NDP democracy and ethics critic Brittany Senger says action from the Sask Party government against Steele is necessary.
Based on Doug Steele's own testimony, his behavior was highly inappropriate and extremely troubling. When a constituent's safety might be at risk, there's no room for shortcuts. Elected officials must follow proper procedures to protect vulnerable people, not put them in greater danger.
The government defended Steele, saying his testimony shows he tried to assist a vulnerable woman while accusing the NDP of scoring political points. Police say a 13-year-old boy is charged after pointing a gun at an employee during a robbery on 5th Avenue. A 12-year-old and a 14-year-old also face charges connected to the case, including firearms offenses and carrying concealed weapons. Officers recovered a loaded handgun and a machete at the scene. The arrests happened shortly after 2:45 a.m. on Sunday. The 3 youths made their first court appearances this morning in Regina Provincial Court. The interim parliamentary budget officer says he is not sure if the federal government has any fiscal anchors. Jason Jakes tells the House of Commons committee that his office is concerned that the federal government hasn't articulated how it will set fiscal discipline in its budgets. He says the Liberals have also not defined how they intend to split up capital and operating spending.
So at this point, it's impossible for us and for you as parliamentarians to assess the likelihood or probability of the government hitting any fiscal target. Finance
Minister Francois Philippe Champagne says he plans to table the government's fall budget on November 4th. And more than a dozen Canadian musicians plan to mark Neil Young's 80th birthday with a fundraiser in November. An organizer says Serena Ryder, Dallas Green, Jim Cuddy, and Donovan Woods have hopped on the bill for NY80, a celebration of Neil Young and his music, set for Toronto's Massey Hall on November 12th. The unofficial birthday celebration will have proceeds going to music education charity Music Counts. Tickets go on sale Friday through the Massey Hall website. That was your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
Employee pricing has been extended at Capital GMC.
Capital GMC!
What does it all mean?
You pay what we pay.
For a limited time, get employee pricing on any new GM vehicle in stock. This special offer is exclusively available at Capital GMC. Or check out our certified pre-owned inventory. They all come with 30-day exchange privilege, manufacturer's warranty, and more. Don't miss your last chance at employee pricing. Now available on any new vehicle. Only at Capital GMC.
SEIU West members are
phlebotomist, food service worker, security officer, plumber,
continuing care assistant,
porter, licensed practical nurse, medical device reprocessing worker, purchasing agent,
environmental services worker,
social services worker, cook, health information management practitioner, switchboard operator,
distribution worker.
The backbone of your public health care system. Learn more at seiuwest.ca.
Brought to you by Line X Regina, Serious Protection Killer Lux, 1865 McCarra Street. The Canadian Canola Growers Association, helping farmers succeed. Year after year, CCGA is there for farmers. Visit ccga.ca to learn more. Tonight, partly cloudy and a low down 9. Tomorrow, partly sunny, maybe some afternoon showers in the area, and a high of 20. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low down to 10. Thursday, we got increasing cloudiness, chance of a shower at night, and a high of 18. Friday, cloudy, spotty showers in the area, 20% chance, and a high of 19. And then looking ahead to Saturday, partly sunny, and a high of 21. Currently in downtown Regina, partly cloudy sky and 24 degrees.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Lots of different ways to listen to the program. Thank you for however you are tuning in today. Harry is my co-host. Colson's in the pocket. The question we posed in hour one, and we're going to get to some of the text messages now as we await Arash Madani. High school football royalty. High school football names that you remember. Maybe you were in high school. Hope you were. Or just if you were working in the business. And Harry and I worked at Global, and he mentioned a couple in hour one. Mind you, up in Saskatoon. But Saskatoon and Regina, if they were good, you heard about them in either city. I remember hearing about Kennedy Nikiasen, Neil Hughes, Brian Harrison. I think he went to Riffle. Some of the texts on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, 600 Albert Street here in Regina. Craig Reynolds of the Saskatchewan Roughriders allegedly, was, it says legendary QB from Foam Lake High School. So I can see that. Tall guy looking over there. What would that be, 6'6" aside probably in Foam Lake? We got a Lane Francis, 6-man football out of Herbert. Won the Vanier Cup in 90 with Dan Farthing. He did it all. Great linebacker, old school, mean. Injury stopped him from moving on to the CFL. Daryl from Moose Jaw, thank you very much. Colson, you said you had one?
Yeah, saw one from Crofty here.
Mm-hmm.
I assume you guys already mentioned Poley and Aldag.
Ooh. Aldag from Gull Lake?
Aldag... I had that open. Yes, Aldag from Gull Lake. And Bob Poley, it's telling me he's from Saskatoon.
Hudson Bay, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, he spent most of his early life in
Saskatoon.
Prairie River and then played ball in Hudson Bay.
Ron and Deb getting in on the fun here. Early stat from the early 70s. Friend of mine from Kamsack Comprehensive High School, Ron Chirkus, played with the Riders. He was here's the quirky stat: that big Ukrainian defensive lineman was bigger and heavier than the Rider D line. Pierogi and Schnislicki power. I love it. Thanks for that one, Ron and Deb. Ed Bankowski. Bankowski's a good high school football name. Terrace Chorney, Ituna, via Holy Cross in Saskatoon to the junior Regina Rams to the University of Oklahoma as an offensive lineman. Nice. There's a good one. We've had a few Jason Claremonts come in. Lots of Neil Hughes. Paul Waldo. I remember Waldo. John Ryan. Kick the ball. Speaking of Herbert, he could kick it to Herbert. A couple of others. And then, Jimmy Box, Saskatoon, Bedford Road. Might be the only Bedford Road name that makes it on here that I remember. Jimmy Box was good. I've had a couple more now for Chad Dagelman from Raymore. Anyone else on your list, Harry? We haven't touched on yet?
Yes, I've got. Let's go. Plenty.
We should have brought Dave Dybert on from the former Star Phoenix writer.
That's right. So Aldag and Poley made me think of another one that's an older statesman, Larry Ruck. Went to Evan Hardy and then went on to a pretty prestigious CFL career. More of our time frame, though. Running back, Graham Bell.
Yes, Ryder. Bouncer
Winnipeg
at the
Blue
Sutherland,
Bomber.
I think.
Yeah.
Sutherland Bar.
Yeah, another... Funny how these football guys tend to get jobs in the service industry while they're playing football. The interesting thing about Bell is that in between, you might remember he was assaulted, and between his football career, and he managed to come back from it and went on to play in the CFL. But he on Central Avenue way back in the day got attacked by some guys. Yep. James Rapesi,
yes,
a D lineman. Yeah, went to Moose Jaw Peacock. Went on to a very prestigious career with the Huskies.
I got a Sawyer Beutner, went to Peacock. That came in here. Another Moose Jaw. Travis Kuntz, lineman, doesn't say where he's from. Tyson Schrader. Chris Getzlaff. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Getzlaff, yes. The other thing that I noticed in looking, when I was talking about quarterbacks early on, it seems that the Huskies seem to have a legacy of Saskatoon-born quarterbacks. So if you go back, you've got Schneider. And then you've got Sheldon Ball we talked about, Steve Balan. And then you've got Brett Thompson. And then you've got Mark Fader. Like, it's just who's who of Saskatoon football quarterbacks.
Didn't Steve Balan have like 24-inch pythons? Like, he had the biggest arms in the world. Was that him?
He looked like a linebacker, for sure.
Yeah.
He was a big fella. Yeah.
Mason Nias who we're going to have on the program tomorrow, in Regina. And then he went to the U of S. I think he could have went U.S. college as well. I was living here when he was playing high school ball. Okay, keep the text messages coming, 936-6262, and also on the YouTube chat. But let's get into our segment with Arash Madani.
It's time to go coast to coast with Arash Madani for Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Gawley at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
Rider bye week, Arash, and
hold on.
Let's go into high school.
Hold on. As somebody who attended Graham Bell's wedding, that is the first time I have ever heard him in the same conversation as Jason Claremont. I'm just saying. Okay, like Claremont's like Canadian football royalty, and Graham. At the end of Graham's wedding, I remember thanking the bartenders. There was 2 of them. God bless them. And they said, if we knew what tonight was going to be like, we probably would have had 8 bartenders on staff. So,
where was the wedding?
It was in Edmonton. So Graham and his wife Ange have set up shop in Edmonton. They have 2 kids. Graham has another child from a previous relationship. Graham's doing well in the real estate business.
I was going to say he's probably not bouncing at a bar anymore. He's probably okay.
No. And Harry, I remember that like vividly because he was playing for the Bombers and he was trying to break up a fight when he got not sucker punch, but somebody just whacked him with a baseball bat. It was horrible.
Yeah.
But we now bug him all these years later that now he has an excuse for why he's brain dead. Previous to that, there was no excuse. So,
yeah. Okay, let's start with the CFL then, Arash, and let's start with Saturday here at Mosaic Stadium. It was a rainy day. The rain kind of held off for the football game. Now, I don't want you to be. I said this yesterday in the show. We don't want guys to go, well, I told you so. Because no one really saw that coming. Although Luke Mullender says he woke up Saturday mornings, had some sort of epiphany and thought about it.
I'm trying to be objective, but I'm still pissed because I had a 4-leg and a 5-leg parlay that got crushed by the Riders as the last leg of the parlay. Like when you're nailing college football picks and the Riders let you down, money line, not even the spread, money line minus 360. But look, I blame myself because no Tavon Campbell, no Marcus Sales, no chance. And this is what we have learned, guys, is that this is a good Rider team, but that when depth gets tested, they're going to get torched on the outside of the numbers. Barney, I told you a couple of weeks ago already, Tavon Campbell's the best defensive player in the Canadian Football League in 2025. You don't have him, the drop-off is what we saw, and that was absolutely getting crushed. So they need the bye week could not come at a better time. They need Campbell back. They need Sales back. We'll see how that all plays out.
Yeah. I just start. What's with the Riders starting slow too, Arash? That's the thing that I can't put my finger. Do you remember a team that was a successful because they're still 10-3, still a good football team. They got the best odds to win. Team. Got the best odds to win a Grey Cup. Have you ever remembered a team that starts so slow?
Yeah, it's a weird one. Like these are the things that sometimes just happen, then they get going. I mean, look. Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City have trailed in every single Super Bowl they've lost at halftime, right? Like they're behind at the half. These are the things that sometimes happen. It's a game of adjustments. It's a game of getting things going. I don't think starts are the air quotes issue with the Riders. You look at the games they've lost this season, none have been close. So these things happen. I think they're going to be fine against Calgary moving forward as long as everybody's back. And I don't think they were ready for McLeod Bethel-Thompson. I don't think they were ready for Tyson Philpott. And I don't think they realize just how much of a talent gap there is in the defensive backfield when their starters are down. So, look, I'm not saying this because I'm on Regina Radio. There is no better time for a bye week and a regroup than now. They need this, and this now it's for keeps. Like we're 2 months away from Grey Cup, so this is where you absolutely have to get your bleep together because now everything matters and everything elevates significantly moving forward.
Philpott, like that's a big number. What was it again? 238 or something like that. That's like that's old school, right? I'm trying to think of the last time maybe it's because I don't watch that close. McLeod Bethel 370, but Philpott, what a day for him.
Yeah, and okay, so first McLeod, not only 370 but 20 of 26, so he's efficient. And I've been thinking about this with Philpott. Like, this is the best way to put this into context in what you saw. That is the second biggest receiver performance in Montreal Alouettes franchise history. Like, number 2 all time. And the best was set in 1956 by Hal Patterson, who, like, if you know CFL history, is like Hal Patterson in Montreal is what Ron Lancaster is in Saskatchewan, without exaggeration. Like, Tyson Philpott, if he was 3 inches taller and 3 years younger, would be not just in the NFL, he'd be on his second contract in the NFL. His comp would be Josh Palmer, drafted by the Chargers, now with the Bills. Philpott has made big-time plays in the past. Colson, I don't know if we have it. Remember the Grey Cup in 2023? Game on the line, inside the 20-yard line, inside 20 seconds. Cody Fajardo was going to only one guy on that play. And it was Philpott who ran the route perfectly. Just turned Brandon Alexander inside out. And look, this is a guy who continues to do it. He's one of the great Canadian players in the league. And you saw it the other night.
Looking around the rest of the league, Arash, what did the cameras not show us about what happened with Toronto and Edmonton the other night that we didn't see? Like, there's got to be more to it than that.
Well, you saw the walk-off field goal, Harry. You saw Ryan Dinwiddie kind of like, do the kicking motion, kicking him off our field.
It's great. Yeah.
Apparently things got very personal on the sidelines. Like, remember, both teams at BMO Field are side by side. It's not like they're across the field from one another. And there was a lot of talking going on between the Edmonton bench, the Toronto bench. I'm told Jordan Williams, who played for the Argos before, the Argos had enough of them, had some things to say in Dinwiddie's direction that involved his personal life, etc. Offside. Like, there's limits. There's within the confines of the game. And Demetrius Maxey, who was the defensive line coach in Toronto last year, now in Edmonton, he was chirping the whole time too. So look, it just builds up. It builds up. And then when you win in walk-off fashion, those are the things that can happen.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was a good watch.
It was great. It was great.
Let's put the benches beside each other everywhere. Get more of that. Okay, let's move to the NFL here. I don't want people saying I saw it coming. Daniel Jones is the best quarterback in the NFL. 2-0. Whoa, jeez, what's going on there?
So here's a question for you, Barney. Do you know what the Indianapolis Colts haven't done this season?
Punted.
Through 8 quarters, through 2 games, they have not punted the football. The first 7 possessions of their season, they scored on each of those first 7 possessions. The first 3 possessions of game 2, they scored on each of those possessions. Like, the Indianapolis Colts have become a team you kind of got to watch. Like, they're going into Nashville this week against the Titans' division opponent. They might be for real. Like, there's 4 teams that didn't make the playoffs last year that are 2-0, and Indianapolis is one of them. Like, okay, San Francisco, we expect them to be good. Arizona, maybe. But Daniel Jones and the Colts losing 2 interior offensive linemen along the way, yeah, it's wild.
I saw a clip this morning, and it was Colts punting highlights so far this year, and it's just him holding the ball. Just him holding the ball for all the kicks. That's great social media right there.
So here's the thing, Coulson. Like, I don't think any of us, not Harry, not you, not Barney, not I, could ever play professional football. But I think one thing we've learned through the first 2 weeks of the NFL season, we're all capable of being the punter of the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
We could have cashed that check, and nobody would have known otherwise. So that would have been okay.
Yeah, get some free gear. I'm in on that.
And 2 checks, and 2 game checks. Two NFL game checks.
I don't even need to get paid. It's just like I just want to warm up.
Okay.
Put some headphones on, look all cool. And KC in trouble here?
I don't know. I think they'll be fine. They're going to get Rashee Rice back. They're going to get Xavier Worthy back. They're still Kansas City. It's only 2 weeks in. There's lots of football to go. I know we want to jump to conclusions. I know we like hysteria. Like Travis Kelce bobbling the ball at the goal line and it going 50 yards the other way for a 14-point swing. When do we see that happen? So I'm not on the hysteric train with KC yet.
We talked about kind of upstart quarterbacks. How about one that just can't catch a break? Joe Burrow. 3 months? That's a long time to be out.
Which is the season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, 3 months. October, November, December. Okay, so mid-December, maybe. Look, Joe Burrow is 3.5 years ago, takes his team to the Super Bowl. They probably should have won the Super Bowl. Wins a national championship in college. It's all of it, right? And then they pay T. Higgins. They pay Jamar Chase. They build it around him because you have to. And this is not a slight on Joe Burrow, even though it's going to come out on it. But I still, I'm watching Joe Burrow hobble off the field because the Bengals are too cheap, apparently, to pay for a cart. And I remember what an old GM once said to me. And he said, you know, the difference between a crappy player and an injured player? I said, no, what is it? He said, nothing. Because neither are of any use to me. And Joe Burrow just can't stay healthy. Joe Burrow just can't stay on the field. And yet again, it's Jake Browning who's going to take number 1 reps this week in practice and is going to start for Cincinnati.
Interesting. Okay, catch up again.
Deep sigh. That's a good deep sigh, by the way.
Catch
well
up
done.
again. Hey, I didn't have a good week on the Lions as well, my friend. Got to regroup on things here. I won't talk to you on Thursday, but the guys will. And then you and I will reconvene next week.
Okay, boys. Have a good one.
See you later. Coast to Coast with Arash Madani for Brian Gawley. Smart investing solutions. Be smart with your money. And call on Brian. Yeah, that Joe Burrow thing. I feel really sorry. Tegan Whitco's a huge Cincinnati fan. Going to a game this weekend in Minneapolis. Both quarterbacks out.
Yeah.
That's not right how that goes down. Okay. We got Sports Ticker coming up, Colson. And then, do you want people to call now? And we got Clutch Performer. Pump Jacks Cathedral Trivia. You want to win $50 to Pump Jacks Cathedral? Now is the time to start calling. 936-6262. The hint on the question, it's going to be about the Saskatchewan Roughriders and one of their championship seasons. It's Sportscage. We're streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. And we're on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
Hockey is back, and what better way to kick off the season than a visit to Extreme Hockey and Sport? September is Customer Appreciation Month, where every purchase qualifies you to receive your money back. At month end, 2 lucky winners will win back their purchase. Size doesn't matter. Product doesn't matter. Extreme Hockey and Sport. Locally owned, community-oriented, customer-focused, and don't forget the price match guarantee. Extreme Hockey and Sport, 1425 McIntyre Street, and the Pro Shop, conveniently located at the Cooperator Center.
Lots of people out there are worried that they're running out of time. Hi, I'm Brian Golly. The average 50-year-old has roughly 15 years left to maximize investment returns before they start to draw their retirement income. You know that GIC rates won't get you where you need to be. You need a solid investment plan, and you need it now.
Invest with confidence and make smart investment decisions. Get Brian Golly working for you and build a solid investment plan that you can rely on. Call Brian at 546-2533 today.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street. More power, more output, more comfort. The Fendt Ideal Combine is ready to roll on your farm. The most innovative and modern combine on the market, the Fendt Ideal Combine has exceptional efficiency backed by the industry's best warranty. An unbelievably comfortable cab. The Fendt Ideal Combine is ahead of the game and the best in the game. The Fendt Ideal Combine is ready to roll on your farm. See for yourself at Nick's Service in Emerald Park. nicksservice.com.
The Sportscage Clutch Performer for Nick's Service in Emerald Park. Your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fendt dealer. Call 781-1077.
All right, Clutch Performer time. And Blue Jays pitcher last night, Trey Yesavich. Remarkable. 9 strikeout debut during 11 innings, 2-1 win over the Tampa Bay Rays. Not a bet, 22 years old. Get in there, start, win the game. Are you on the Blue Jays thing, Harry?
Not really. I can appreciate it, but postseason. I'll pick it up postseason.
Yeah.
I hate 162 games. I can't stand it.
It's hard.
It's just
hard
too
to
much.
Watch. But, yeah, so Trey Yesavich is our guy, Clutch Performer for Nick's Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fendt dealer. You visit them. I know a lot of you are out there combining, getting the crop off. Still this hour to come. We're going to go to break. We're going to break right now, Colson, or are we going? Going to break. Colson says we're going to break, then we're coming back with Pump Jacks Cathedral Trivia. Now's your time to call 936-6262 if you want to play along. Up for grabs, $50 at Pump Jacks. It's a Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com.
Why test for asbestos? Because before 1990, asbestos was commonly used in more than 3,000 building materials and other products. Because when asbestos fibers become airborne, they get into the lungs and cause severe damage over time. Because asbestos exposure is the #1 cause of work-related deaths in Saskatchewan. Built before 1990? Test for asbestos. Start at worksafesask.ca.
The Regina Thunder NFL Lottery is back, and tickets are available now. Each $20 ticket gets you the chance to win up to $500 each week of the NFL season. That's 18 chances to win. Tickets are available until October 6th, and you can still win for the weeks already played. No football knowledge needed. Proceeds support the Regina Thunder Student Athlete Scholarship Fund and team operations. Get your tickets at ReginaThunderNFLLottery.com.
Lottery license RR240660.
So, since that little ding on my car last week, I don't know where to take it.
I don't even know.
That's easy. Take it to Regina Motor Products.
Who said that?
I did.
Down here, I'm Terry the Tire. Regina Motor Products Chevrolet Collision Center and SGI accredited auto body repair is a full-service collision and body shop that works on all makes and models. Just submit your claim to SGI and set an appointment to get your appraisal done. Easy.
I bet you're tired after saying all that.
South at Highway 1 and 6, Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
Employee pricing is back. Right now, you pay what I pay. You pay what we pay. It's amazing. And guess what? You don't have to do any work.
Right now, you pay what I pay.
They get our discount?
Yeah.
Can you believe it? We got over 100 F-150s. We got over 50 Super Duties. We got Escapes, Bronco Sports, over 300 new vehicles to choose from. We got it all. Don't miss the employee pricing at Capital Ford Lincoln.
When the rut kicks in, there's no room for second chances. Get locked, get loaded. That's where Cash Tactical comes in. Brands like Browning and Winchester firearms, award-winning Vortex optics, and a full selection of ammunition. Start with gear that's as tough as you are. Cash Tactical, Regina's hunting, fishing, and camping headquarters. 2176 7th Ave in the Warehouse District.
It's time for Sportscage Trivia for Pump Jacks. Great food, cold local draft, and a place that feels like home.
I guess word on the street, their brand new broccoli cheddar soup made in-house it's some of the best soup around. Wing Wednesday coming up, 15 flavors to choose from, live entertainment every weekend, and they have trivia tonight at Pump Jacks, Albert and 13th. All right, we got Ryan on the phone from Santa Luda. Ryan is ready to play. Are you ready? You got 10 seconds here, Ryan. Are you queued up? Are you good to go?
Yeah.
All right. The question is, you going to hit the ticker, Colson? Or are you going to count in your head? What was the Rider record, their championship season of 2013? You got 10 seconds. What was their regular season record?
12-6.
Ryan, you're close. Sorry, buddy. You're still going to walk away with a lunch from Pump Jacks Cathedral. 11-7 was the correct answer. Thanks so much for playing today. Again, out there, Pump Jack Cathedral is Albert and 13th here in Regina. Taps, cold beer, brand new cheddar, broccoli cheddar soup, wing nights, live entertainment every weekend. We'll play for 100 Smackaroonies next Tuesday when we do that. Just stay tuned for that. Let's get back to the text line here, Harry. Prairieland Rentals text line. It's what's picking up steam. And if you're just driving home, or maybe you're just getting out in the field, or you're just tuning into the app or YouTube, is we're asking high school football players from Saskatchewan when maybe you were in high school, or that the names that you remember. And we've rattled off so many. The one gaining steam a lot is Chris Getzlaff from Regina. We've talked about a number from Saskatoon as well up there. And then who, I got to say, is this Travis from Regina texted in. And this is a good text, Travis. Colton Solomon went to Sheldon Williams. He throws out that. Then he goes through, like, he played Thunder, Rams, that must be Victoria Raiders, and then Rough Riders. Ryan Wellman, Ben Heenan. These are all Sheldon Williams. I'm wondering if Travis went to Sheldon. And then Mark Mueller, U of R. Obviously, it says one game with the Eskimos and a CFL coach. Coaches are Saskatchewan Roughriders. Sheldon Williams, 6A provincial champions in 2006. Good text in Travis there. Georgie Porgy and Pilot Butte. He's going mid 80s here. Maurice Elfenbaum. Okay, good one, Georgie. That's the first one for Elfenbaum on the list. Holy Cross Crusaders. Yeah, Sheldon Ball again, up in Saskatoon. Mason Nias, again, Regina kid, Riffle, then went to the U of S. Harry, who else do you have on your list? You can even, because we're halfway through the show now, you can go back to some of the ones that we've mentioned already. Ruben Mays, North Battleford has been the big one.
Right. Some of the other big ones was Kelly Bates, CFL career. We talked about Brent Schneider. I'll throw him out again. 2 Vanier Cup MVPs. I think he's the only Canada West guy to have ever done that. Who else do I have? John Farthing, Dan Farthing, Farthing Boys.
Yes.
Also impressive post-secondary careers. Scott McHenry, we mentioned, was a stud in high school for sure, and was scooped up by the Huskies and was also very effective with them. Had a cup of coffee in the CFL as well.
Dwayne
Demetrician. A name that came up, there's his bio. Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Another name. Oh, I was wrong. There's only 3 Y's in there. I don't know anything about this guy, but the name popped up a lot. Was Errol Brown.
Yeah.
Went to Marion Graham. He was a secondary. He's a defensive back, but he was the MVP of the Canadian Bowl the year that he played in, the Senior Bowl the year that he played it as a high schooler. One of those guys that also stamped out an impressive high school career here in Saskatoon.
We went to six aside, 9 aside. We like that too. We had Elaine Francis from Herbert came in. A number for Chad Degelman from Raymore. He must have been an absolute weapon out there. Ryan Barnstable. We had 2. I think he played in Loreburn. Let's go to the one Texas. He won a 6-man provincial championship there. I like the one that you said. Brian
Giebert.
Brian Giebert. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was so good. So keep the text messages coming, 936-6262. If you have any, or you throw out a name of that sort. We have the Brian Harrison went to Riffle, Mike Smith, Connor Cisco, Jared Fry, Chris Rasmussen, Sawyer Butner, Peacock, Travis
another guy from Moose Jaw, another quarterback, Shane Reeder, went to Moose Jaw, then played Hilltops, then played Huskies as well. Again, the amount of homegrown quarterbacks this province has produced is crazy, and that I'm not even touching Regina. That's just my knowledge of Saskatoon and a few guys that were from other towns, but I couldn't name you one from Regina because I didn't grow up in Regina. But just the ones from Saskatoon alone are staggering.
I couldn't remember his name, so I'm so glad Shane Reeder. And he was from Moose Jaw. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I totally remember him. Great career. With Sheldon Ball, Steve Balan. The good Farthings are coming in again as well. And then John Keane gave us, I think it was John McGee from Gull Lake. I remember him as a running back. He said maybe it was Joe. I know any and around Gull Lake, let us know. Because the other Gull Lake famous one, Colson brought it up, is Roger Aldag.
Yeah, which is crazy as well. The one thing about Steve Balan that I love is that he went to Fian. You had mentioned the one Bedford named Jimmy Box, but Fian didn't produce a lot of post-secondary or CFL football players. So for Balan to go there and develop and become the player that he did is very impressive.
Yeah, I think Fian, they use their football field as a parking lot more times than not. They're more proud of their their theater. They had a theater in their school. Ron and Deb again in Pigeon Lake saying one more from Sheldon Williams, Steve Mazurek, and then don't forget Roger Aldag from Gull Lake. We did mention Mr. Aldag. All right, let's go back on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings. No need to cook tonight. Grab a Western pizza or any of the Greek favorites you like. Coming up September 30th, it's the Western Canada Professional Hockey Scouts Foundation celebrating Indigenous hockey here in Regina at the Connexus. It's going to be a great night. The King brothers, Jordan Tutu, John Nasty Marasti, who we had on last week, Rich Pilon, Brian Trottier, Dave Tiger Williams. It goes on and on. The ex-NHLers, ex-hockey guys that are going to be coming in and speaking, hot stove. There's going to be a silent auction. One of the gentlemen coming in, and he's a legendary broadcaster, especially in Saskatchewan, and then people in Winnipeg that are listening are going to love it. Dennis Beyak is back on the Sports Cage. Sorry to pull you off the golf course today, Dennis. What's the handicap at these days?
It should be way down, but I'm not even going to tell you what it is because it's not. There's no connection between how many games I play and what my handicap is.
I love it. Hey, this is going to be a great night coming up here in Regina.
I'll go back. I caught the end of your previous conversation.
Okay.
Did you guys mention John Konahowski?
No.
No.
Dave
That's a
Pickett?
first. No.
Pickett was mentioned, was he not?
Oh, was he? I think he was the first college player to be drafted by the CFL or anyway.
Yeah.
Let's move on to September 30th.
We did have some Pickets, and then lots of Ruben Mays still coming in from North Battleford.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's going to be a great night at the Connexus Arts Center. Tickets still available. Tables, because of Boss Lubricants, are down to $1,100 for a table of 8, $150 if you want to go. This event, Dennis, and I know you've been around the Western Canada Professional Hockey Scouts Foundation, just what they do and scouting in general. You know, your time in the game, whether it's broadcasting on the management side, you know, if you had to sum up how important these scouts were and what these guys meant and how it is now they're giving back, what would you say?
Well, there's two parts of it for me. First, when I was starting off in broadcasting in Flin Flon in the Western Canada Hockey League at that time, they were so generous of their time because we needed to fill intermissions. And what you'd do is you'd make the tour around the rink 45 minutes before the game and see who was there. And you got to know them a little bit, and you would ask them if they would come on your broadcast, and they would volunteer their time and come on. And it wasn't like today where they can keep up with their NHL teams on a very regular basis. They can watch the games, they can listen to the games, they get everything they want on social media. Back then, I would ask them about their NHL teams, but they really, they gave us good answers. But it wasn't like today where they could watch the games. So that was the first part of it. And they were all very generous of their time. And then, as you mentioned, once I got into management in the Western Hockey League, and it's even harder in the junior ranks than what it is in the National Hockey League, because you're going to tournaments and you're in the rink from 8 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night. And some of the rinks weren't that warm. You had to use a pencil because your pen would freeze, but you got through it. And I always made a point when I was general manager that somewhere in the middle of the afternoon, we're getting out of the rink for an hour and a half. We're going for something to eat, and we're going to get a cup of coffee, and we're going to get out of here for a little while. Because I think after a while, players all start to look alike. So, but even the NHL players, when you consider the NHL scouts, when you consider the roads they travel on in the wintertime from Swift Current to Regina to Saskatoon to Prince Albert, it's not as glamorous as it seems, but they put in their hours, they put in their time, and we all know how important they are come draft day, because it's their work that that general managers go on when it comes to making their picks.
And we're celebrating Indigenous hockey on September 30th, and it's the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. When you go back to all your time, Dennis, and you saw it, come through, and just talking to John Marasti last week, and talking to Rich Pilon, and there was the barrier there, and there still is, unfortunately. But when you think of Indigenous hockey players, when you were broadcasting and on the management side, any come to mind, any stories on how it was, different for these athletes?
Well, you know what? We didn't realize it at the time, because they were now in the Western Hockey League, and you just kind of, at that time, felt that everybody had the same path. And then once you got into management, you realized, no, they didn't have the same path, because you would invite some players from L'Orange, or you would invite some players from the PA. And they had, when they said, no, we're not going to come, we just always assumed, well, they just don't want to play hockey. Well, that wasn't the case. They had reasons to stay home, and far-reaching reasons to stay home. In some, like I just finished reading Freddie Sasakamoos's book, Call Me Indian. And he explains a lot of what they went through growing up. The residential schools, they were taken away from home. They weren't around their families. So when it came to leaving home again to go play hockey, to them it was just another case of leaving home. And that wasn't what they wanted. They wanted to be home with their families. And in a lot of cases, eventually it got to the point where they realized there was an opportunity to do something in advance, and they would go. And that's when we saw the Ron DeLormes and the Brian Trottiers and more of those. But their road was not easy. I mean, we've all been in rinks. I'm way older than you guys. I mean, I remember some of the comments from some fans, and it wasn't pretty. And so it was, their story was not as smooth as the stories that we would expect from a lot of other players.
There's obviously going to be, the hot stove, and there's going to be some great stories on this evening. And you've interviewed, I'm sure you've been around a lot of these guys, but are you intrigued? Are you looking forward to hearing anybody speak, and maybe stories from one of the guys coming on September 30th?
Well, I've been at a couple of events with Brian Trottier, and he's got a lot of great hockey stories. The King brothers is a great hockey story. And Jordan Tutu is a great hockey story. And we're going to hear some of those hockey stories. I mean, I enjoy listening to Brian Trottier just because, as we did with the foundation dinner in July, the night with the Sutters, there's so many great stories about the New York Islanders. We talked about it with Dwayne Sutter. And so now you get a chance to hear Brian Trottier talk about the days with the New York Islanders. Ronnie DeLorme's great career with the Vancouver Canucks as a scout. And still at it. So there's going to be a lot of those great stories, the hockey stories that we kind of know a little bit about, but it's the other stories that we're going to try and get into a little bit. And Clarence Iron, who does NHL play-by-play in Cree, is going to be part of the hot stove panel with me asking some of these questions. So I'm kind of looking forward to some of his stories as well. So, but there will be some laughs. We know that. You know what players are like when they get together. They all like the locker room, and they all like to tell stories. So there will be some laughs, and I'm sure there will be some tears. But it'll be a great night.
So Dennis, when I saw that you were going to be on today, the first thing I kind of thought of was, for somebody who's been around the game and has called a lot of games, I hate to put you on the spot, but the thing I thought of was, if you had a DeLorean, and you could go back, and both in hockey and outside of hockey, a game that you would have loved to have called, or a sporting event, non-hockey related, that you would love to have been the broadcaster for. Is there anything that you can think of that would be like, that would be the one, or that I would have loved to have called that game?
Yeah, good. You know what? I think the Olympics would kind of fall into that category. Obviously, the easy answer is Hockey Night in Canada. I never did get to do Hockey Night in Canada games. So, so that would be the easy one. But I think the Olympics would be another one. As far as other sporting events, I was a big CFL fan, NFL fan, but that really wasn't where I was going in broadcasting. So I would think Stanley Cup, playoffs, and certainly, now I did playoffs on radio, and I did some NHL playoffs for TSN, but not where you get to the point where in Hockey Night in Canada, you're crawling it right down to the finals. And the Olympics, I guess, would be the other one. As far as a game itself that I didn't call but was there, was the year that Edmonton beat Dallas on Todd Marchand's goal in overtime. after Curtis Joseph makes the big save off Joe Nieuwendyk. I was there and it was exciting, but I wasn't calling that game because it was a playoff game. So, but I think the Olympics, from a broadcasting standpoint, I guess that would be considered the cream of the crop.
I think it was that poor Grant Ledyard or Chamber.
Yep.
I was a Stars fan that he just blew right by and then beat John
Andy
Casey or Andy Moog.
Was it John Casey?
I think it was Andy Moog. I can't wait for September 30th. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, tickets are available. Western Canada Professional Hockey Scouts Foundation online. Tables are still available. You might not have called those games, Dennis, but not everyone can say that they called the Waldheim snowmobile races.
Exactly. And you know what the funny part about that was? On the same weekend, the Canadian Volleyball Championships were on at the U of S. So Wide World of Sports wanted something on both events. So they actually had a helicopter that picked me up at the U of S and took me out to Waldheim to get back there in time to do the finals.
I love it.
I still have the Yamaha snow suit that they gave me. It doesn't fit anymore, obviously. But that was... It was, it was an amazing event, how they built the track and everything else, but we'll save that one for another day.
That was he told it on the Monday Nooner. It was so good. Kay, can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks for doing this, Dennis.
Thanks for your help and look forward to all the people in Regina kind of getting behind this event because it's going to be a good one.
Right on. Hit them straight. Stay down on it, right? Through impact. Stay down on it.
I wish that was my only concern.
Awesome stuff. Iconic play-by-play voice right there is right. Dennis Beyak. He's coming into town September 30th for the event. Again, Western Canada Professional Hockey Scouts Foundation celebrating Indigenous hockey at the Connexus. Tickets available online. We'll go to break here. We'll come back with a little ticker. It is a Sports Cage. We are streaming at sportscage.com.
Dan at Croft Electric explains the 3 levels of electric service they typically supply to customers.
Number 1, you need to do it now. There's something really bad that we need to fix. Number 2, this should get fixed soon, but it doesn't, it's not an immediate emergency. And, number 3 is the nice to have, should be done eventually kind of stuff.
For reliable, professional electrical work for your farm, see Croft Electric.
Do it right, do it once.
CroftElectric.com.
This is not a drill. It's employee pricing at Watrous Mainline Motors. No gimmicks, no markups, just massive savings on all 2025 GMC and Chevy half-tons. You pay what we pay. Pair that with 0% financing and you get in on the hottest deal of the year. Act fast. Employee pricing won't last forever at your original GM Superstore, Watrous Mainline GM, where we make deals happen since 1962.
Get it hot, get it fast, Western Pizza.
Ugh, what do I want for supper? There's a bag of baby carrots, a slice of cheese that looks haunted.
Step away from the sad cheese, Dave.
What, the fridge? Since when do you talk?
Since you've been standing here for 10 minutes whispering pizza or cereal like it's a hostage negotiation. I'll make this simple. Order Western Pizza. You are welcome.
Get it hot, get it fast, Western Pizza.
The 620 CKRM Country Corner is brought to you by Glasses TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer, and Foster's Audio Video in Carlisle. Get the newest cell phone today with an amazing SaskTel rate plan.
Take in the Gift of Giving Gala this Saturday, September 20th at the Viterra International Trade Center in Regina. Great food, entertainment, and the chance to support mental health initiatives for children and youth. Full details at thegiftofgivinggala.ca. Support the Regina Youth Flag Football League by watching some of their exciting action this fall. 1,700 kids taking part with all games at the rugby fields. The last weekend of games is September 27th and 28th. ReginaYouthFlagFootball.com. And celebrate Indigenous hockey legends Tuesday, September 30th at the Connexus Arts Center. A delicious dinner followed by hot stove sessions featuring 7-time Stanley Cup winner Brian Trottier, Dave Tiger Williams, Jordan Tutu, and more. Tickets at HockeyScoutsFoundation.com.
For more information, visit 620ckrm.com. It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sports, Regina's locally owned one-stop hockey shop. Now with a price match guarantee. 1425 McIntyre Street.
Quick one here today. If you're wondering, Grey Cup odds and a lot of betting lines, the Riders are still the favorites, a plus 275, followed by Hamilton and Calgary. Major League Baseball tonight, Toronto Blue Jays looking for 2 in a row against the Tampa Bay Rays. First pitch, 5:30. Their magic number's now 7. Sportscage.com poll, who was the best Saskatchewan Roughrider quarterback of the last 40 years who has never won a Grey Cup with the team? You can vote at Sportscage.com. Hour 2, it is for Extreme Hockey and Sport in Regina, where they have the price match guarantee. They're local, they support local. If you find something cheaper, they will price match it. Extreme Hockey and Sport in Regina. Let's go out and talk to our friend Brian Raymond from Flowing Springs Golf Course right now. Brian, I am jealous because, the sun's setting early, so I'm sure there's people teeing off right now. I'd like to be in their shoes. What time can people play till out there right now, Brian?
If there's no cloud, you can get it. You can usually last till about 7:30 because the sun's down now at 7:11, so you don't have a whole lot of time. That's why we moved our start time for our late twilight up to 5 o'clock, so you get a good solid 2 hours to get out and play 9 holes.
Let's go through the specials that people need to be aware of.
Monday and Wednesday, $39 for ladies and seniors. And seniors, you only have to be 60 years old to qualify for that. Every day after 3, it's $38. And, of course, 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock now, $22. So there's some great specials there. And a lot of folks wonder about playing 9 holes because, maybe that's all the time you have. $46.75 to come out every day, any time of the day to play 9 holes, unless there's a special on, of course.
That is lovely. And the driving range is still obviously there, and you get to hit off grass.
Yeah, it's still really busy. I mean, folks are getting out and practicing, working on their golf swing, taking out their frustrations. You know how that works. So it's been busy, and you're right. All grass, no mats, target greens, and all you have to do is come to the clubhouse, and we'll fix you up with golf balls to get out to the range. I
love it. And the forecast actually looking really good here for the next 10, 14 days. How do they book a time, Brian?
All you have to do is give us a call at 306-543-5050, or you can book online at flowingspringsgolf.com.
Thank you very much, Brian. I'll talk to you Thursday.
Sounds good.
Right on, Brian. Flowing Springs. Man, if you're out there golfing or going golfing right now, you are lucky. Hour 3 is coming up. We're going to continue our high school football legends talk. Throw the names at us, 936-6262. We'll even bring it up to our guest, Glen Suitor. And we're also going to talk about the Prince Albert Raiders in Hour 3. It is the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
From the towers to the tractors, country's greatest hits. 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station.
Good evening. It's 5 o'clock. I'm Corey Atkinson from the SaskToday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM news for Echo Sound and Fort Qu'Appelle. Stay connected with a new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe says he had a good meeting with Prime Minister Mark Carney about addressing China's punishing tariffs on Canadian canola products. Moe says the meeting revolved around the opportunities Canada has to restore market access to its 2 biggest trading partners, the United States and China.
I think there's, not a lot of confidence in trade certainty moving forward for any country right now. However, that being said, we're going to work along as aside our federal government. We are a subnational government in ensuring that Canada is well represented, and Canada's interests, all of Canada's interests, are well represented at that table.
Carney thanked the Premier before the meeting began for leading a trip to China last week with the Prime Minister's Parliamentary Secretary, Cody Blois. The family of Tanya Myers, a 44-year-old woman who died near Weyburn on September 12th, has issued a statement through media. She died after shots were fired into the Ford Explorer she was riding in on Highway 39 northwest of Weyburn. The family are asking anyone with information about the case to contact police and are requesting privacy during their grief. Tanya was remembered as an energy healer, an animal lover, and a devoted cat owner. Her family says her sudden death has shocked them and left her pets without the mother who cared for them. 2 Regina teens are facing robbery charges after a machete-related incident on Argyle Street on Monday morning. Police say a 16-year-old and a 17-year-old allegedly approached a man, threatened him with a machete, and stole his cell phone and backpack before fleeing in a vehicle. Officers arrested the suspects about 15 minutes later on Albert Street. Both youths appeared in Regina Provincial Youth Court this morning. Their names cannot be released under the Youth Criminal Justice Act. The role of MLA Doug Steele in a human trafficking court case has led the NDP to demand his removal as caucus chair. Opposition ethics critic Brittany Senger said testimony revealed Steele messaged the victim and failed to follow proper procedures.
He could have called in the RCMP. He could have called in victim services. Why would he choose to deal with this young, scared, vulnerable woman on his own and in what seems to be an inappropriate way?
The government says Steele was trying to help someone in danger. The trial in Rosetown involves 2 men facing trafficking charges, with one also accused of sexual assault. Former Kelvington MLA Hugh Nerline has also testified for the prosecution. And actor and Oscar-winning director Robert Redford has died today at age 89. Redford was an activist and a godfather for independent cinema under the name of one of his best-loved characters. Publicist Cindy Berger says Redford died at his home in Sundance in the mountains of Utah, surrounded by loved ones. No cause of death was provided. His roles ranged from Washington Post journalist Bob Woodward to a mountain man in Jeremiah Johnson to a double agent in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and his co-stars included Jane Fonda, Meryl Streep, and Tom Cruise. That was your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
This back-to-school season, don't be prehistoric.
Mom, my phone is basically a fossil.
Sweetie, your phone's older than a T-Rex.
Time to evolve at Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer.
They have new phones, back-to-school deals, internet and Max TV stream, and no extinct data plans.
In 2025, there's no excuse to roam with a Jurassic phone. Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel. EchoSound.ca.
Hey, let's hit up Pump Jack's Cathedral.
Pump? You talking about my basketball shoes?
No, Pump Jack's Cathedral.
Who?
Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. They're open now. They've got a large selection of local draft and food and drink specials. Kids are allowed until 8. There's live entertainment every weekend.
Let's go. I'm pumped.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
Brought to you by Line X Regina, Serious Protection Killer Lux, 1865 McCarra Street. Matt's Furniture. Visit mattsfurniture.ca.
A bubble of high pressure to our west will make for a quiet night tonight after any lingering evening clouds thin out, and high pressure to our north will make for a quiet day tomorrow, although a trough of low pressure nosing eastward from far southern Alberta may be enough to trigger some isolated shower activity in the afternoon. And when we say isolated, we're only talking a 20% chance of rainfall. Only minor weather makers in the pipeline, and a bit of a warming trend late this week into the weekend. Becoming partly to mostly clear tonight, lows near 9 degrees, chance of rain 10%, north and northeast winds at 10 to 20, partly sunny with isolated afternoon showers and thunderstorms, a high of 20 degrees tomorrow, chance of rainfall 20%. Partly cloudy skies tomorrow night, lows near 10 degrees, chance of rain 20%, increasing cloudiness with late day showers Thursday 18, spotty showers 19 on Friday, and partly sunny 21 Saturday. With your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast, I'm meteorologist Russ Murley.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
He's at it again. Matt's sharpening his pencil to save you money at Matt's Furniture. Now till October 1st, it's the Maytag Dependable Savings Event. Buy any 2 qualifying Maytag major kitchen appliances and save an extra $150. Buy 3 or more and save an extra $300. And buy any Maytag eligible washer and dryer pair and save an extra $100. See in store for all the details. Matt's Furniture in Fort Capel, Kamsack, Melville, and Foam Lake, or online at mattsfurniture.ca.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Harry's with me today. It is for Saskatchewan Lotteries, Colson's in the pocket. One more hour. We're going to talk to Glen Suitor here in moments. And then also we'll take a look at the Prince Albert Raiders with Nick Nielsen, play-by-play voice of the Raiders, coming up in a bit. I forgot to mention this in the sports ticker. I apologize. If you're driving home, get this. The Regina Pats have acquired local product Dace Durkach from the Prince Albert Raiders in exchange for a 2023 third-round pick. I love the quote in the press release. We're very excited to add a veteran player like Dace who brings character and strong work ethic, said Regina Pats GM Dale Durkach. It's his son. I love it. Smart move. I thought this was going to happen at some point. The Pats now have 6 local products on their roster heading into the 25-26 season. Kelton Pine from White City, Colton Bridgman from Regina, Ellis Mignette from Lumsden, Durkach from Regina, and Maddox Schultz also from Regina. So nice move there. We're going to have Dale Durkach on the show tomorrow. The other thing we're doing today, Harry and I have had some fun out on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, and Suits is going to love this. Rider bye week, we're saying, how can we engage people on the Prairie Land Rentals text line? And it has been hot. We're asking what name or names come to mind when you think of high school football in Saskatchewan. Harry and I both grew up in Saskatoon. There was Sheldon Duvall, Tony Chad, Ty Mountney. Harry went with Brent Schneider, quarterback, who was so good for years. Dwayne Demetrician, I remember growing up. Dan Farthing, John Farthing, on and on. So many. We have a number of Dan Clarks, Stu Ford. That's one from Tom that hasn't come in. The Chris Getzlaff, Paul Waldo, John Ryan, Jason Claremont, Neil Hughes. Thanks, everybody who's been texting in. This has been fantastic today. Al Ford. Hey, throwback. We're going every model. Doesn't matter when and where. Harry, you actually came with some really good stats and insight. But the people that are just trying, the first guy that you mentioned, the first one where a lot of people, especially I think from up north for sure, the name everyone thinks of when high school football royalty in Saskatchewan is. Oh, hold on. Your mic's not on. Get out, fire. Ruben Mays. Something's not working on the mic over there. Ruben Mays. Can't believe it. Played in the NFL. New Orleans Saints from North Battleford, Saskatchewan. North Battleford, Saskatchewan had really good high school football teams coached by the great Don Hodgson. That's the father of Ryan Hodgins, Ryan Hodgins, Pat Canadian's head hockey coach. He was a good player. Neil Sandecki from North Battleford. Sandy Martin played center. Let's get into it with Suits. Let's throw some names here at Glen Suitor. Here we go.
Time now for press coverage with CFL and Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Glen Suitor on the Sportscage. Brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090.
Oh, Glenn, the Saskatchewan football, ties run deep. You got 6 aside. There's some names, and they maybe didn't make it to the CFL, but there's Chad Dagelman from Raymore, a number of votes. This one just came in. Kelsey Peterson, Lumsden Devils, middle linebacker, won a 9-man provincial, so that was good. But you'd know some of those names. Hey, Glenn, Demetrician, Farthing, yes. Of course, Aldag, Poley. Harry, who are we missing?
Scott Flory, we mentioned, obviously.
Graham Bell.
James Rapesi. Some other CFLers I'm trying to think of.
Kelly Bates. Yeah.
Kelly Bates.
Well, when you guys bring up Polly and Aldag, when you bring up Polly and Aldag, I immediately think of the 2 grumpy Muppets in the balcony. That's the first. Because they were just tied at the hip, those 2 guys, and of course Gull Lake, right? That's Roger.
Yeah.
And I did tell you, I told you the crib story already, so I won't go into that again. But I used to sit between those 2 guys. I had a few words but I used to sit between the two of them on road trips, and they'd play crib across me, and my middle table on the plane would be the table for their crib board. And on one flight to Toronto, when they weren't looking, they both were busy doing stuff, I took the fives out of the deck of cards. Now, if you play crib, you know that the fives are pretty important in the game of crib. And they went all the way from Regina to Toronto, not knowing. I thought it would be two hands. I thought it would be we'd go two hands or whatever, and they wouldn't know. And they go, "Oh, come on, what's going on? I haven't got a five in two hands." And they went the whole way. We landed in Toronto. And I reached into my pocket and I said, "Did you guys need these cards? Were they important?" But I made sure I did it just as we were getting off the plane, so I had room to run. But those guys were great. How about Jackson Ford, current Saskatchewan Roughrider? He went to high school. He played high school ball in Saskatchewan, right? Sure, he did. Mark Mueller.
Mark Mueller. We've had a couple of texts on Mark Mueller for sure.
Yeah.
Larry Rock was the other one.
Larry, yeah, that's another one. No, just and the one common thread I think with all those guys is just a sort of a level of physical and mental toughness. You just knew you had a guy that was going to go to the end with you.
Yeah, let's go to Saturday here at Mosaic, Glen, and I think it caught a lot of people off guard. But to Luke's comments, they get paid to play the game as well, and Montreal came in here with a great game plan. Maybe exposed a couple of injuries in some spots for the Riders. When you look at that game, what do you see from your lens?
Well, first of all, I shouldn't have been surprised because I think back to now looking at it in retrospect. You look back at it and you see two highly emotional, intense games. One on Labor Day, most intense game of the regular season, and then the rematch to go into Winnipeg and win that game. And then you add the fact that there's a bye after the Montreal game. I know they're pros. And I know they have to block that stuff out and they have to get themselves prepared and all of those things, but they're also human beings. And I've mentioned many times before, guys, about the difference between regular season hockey and playoff hockey in the NHL. Like, it is night and day different. And if you could do it in the regular season, you'd be undefeated. Obviously, you can't go that long. But my point is that sometimes you're doing everything you think you can be doing to be preparing yourself to play at a high level of intensity, but you've just come off two emotionally charged games, two intense games. You exercised a demon in Winnipeg, winning that Banjo Bowl, and then you have a bye right after the Montreal game. I mean, it's hard to fight off those the mind that is going to try to put you in cruise control. And I shouldn't be surprised. Here's what I am surprised of. Whoever took the over, good on you, because looking at those two teams going into that game, I would think, no way is that going to be over. That's the best defense in Saskatchewan in the league going into that game. And Montreal, who had slipped a bit, they are still capable of shutting down teams. So I thought that would have been the under 100%, which is why I'm glad I don't do that very often.
Don't talk about that, Glenn, but let's keep in mind it was raining buckets before that game. So the under was the play all day long, no doubt about it. We talked about this with Arash earlier too. Tyson Philpott, what a dude out there, like 238 yards. Can't say enough about him. Arash said he's a little bit bigger. That guy's on his second contract in the NFL.
Yeah, Kerfala Exume had a rough night, and I'm sure the coach, maybe he's already talked about that it wasn't always his fault, and it was probably there's some zones and things like that. But at the end of the day, if you're playing a zone and you have the deep outside third and a receiver comes into that zone, he's your guy. And he had a rough night. But it's anyone who's crossed the stripe knows what that feels like. I certainly do. And, I'm sure he'll bounce back from it. He's got experience, and I'm sure he'll bounce back from it. I'm not suggesting, that he starts immediately, but I'm just saying that, as an athlete, he's got to bounce back from these down times. But, yeah, I mean, Philpott, when I talked to Jason Moss about the injury to Davis Alexander and at the same time Philpott's injury, he put them in the same category. He said, we're not going to rush Philpott back or Davis Alexander back because we need both of those guys down the stretch when it comes to playoff positioning, getting a home game, and then winning that game and getting to where we want to get to, which is the Cup. So he put them, usually your quarterback is in a very different conversation with the head coach than any other player on the team. Not necessarily that they treat him all that different, but just that you want to be sure about that guy. And he put Philpott in the conversation. He said, hey, Philpott, we're not going to rush. Davis Alexander, we're not going to rush. There were other injured players. He didn't mention them, but he mentioned those two guys. And that's how important Philpott is to that offense. And boy, did he have a game.
Glenn, we kind of touched on it earlier about this is the perfect opportunity for a bye week coming off a loss like this. But at the same time, is there a preference going into a bye week? Is there a pro and a con to this way? Or if you're going in on a high note, what is better? Is there a better?
Yeah, I think for your psyche, it's better to go into a bye with a win. But it's better to go to bed at night with a win, because if you don't, you're staring at the ceiling for 2 straight nights until you get back on the practice field and actually get to go back and start working at letting it go and moving to the next game. And, that's a process. So now you've got a whole week to sit there and go, fight off self-doubt and say, self-doubt is saying, your guys aren't as good as you think you are. And you're saying, no, we are. We're doing the right things. We're practicing the right way. We're approaching things the way we should be. We validated for 10 wins in a row, or not in a row, but 10 wins in the season. And, we're on the right track to where we want to be, which is first in the division. And you got to fight that. So now they've got a whole week to do that. So it's but what it does do is it reminds you, if you come off a loss, it reminds you of the work. It reminds you of digging in again. If it was starting to get a little fluffy, you can now just put your work boots back on, get back in there with the video and start breaking it down and saying, okay, I got to look in the mirror. How can I better help the team win next time we get out there?
As a guy who likes to sprinkle, and that's been well documented here, you look at it, especially. I don't even know where you got Friday, 2 games Friday, 2 games Saturday, and you look at this week's schedule. First off, what game are you doing, or games up?
I'm in Toronto for the first one, and then the Hall of Fame game in Hamilton.
Yeah,
right.
Great games. That I want to say that East is an absolute dogfight. Every point is so important. But same thing in the West. We're middle of September here, Glenn, and maybe besides Ottawa, everybody else is still hunting.
Well, so is Ottawa. They're still in it in a big way, and if Drew Brown comes back, maybe that changes their fortunes. I mean, we talked about what McLeod Bethel Thompson can get done if you allow it to happen. And did he ever. Almost 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, no problem, no picks. I mean, that's what he can do. He is a thrower of the football.
You don't have to bring that up anymore, okay? You're on the Regina here.
Okay, I'll let it go. But that's what Drew Brown was throwing for 350, 400 yards before he got hurt. And so Crum kind of tried to keep the ship afloat, but it's Drew Brown's team. So they're still in the fight. Guys, I don't remember a time in the recent history, like 10 years, that everybody has still been engaged at this point of the season. Usually by now, there's one or two teams that are out. They're basically out. Not this year. This year, they're all in the fight. The crossover is in play. It's, and for the first time in 5 years, there's maybe a couple of dogs on the porch, not just one wearing blue and white.
Should benches be beside each other in all stadiums, and maybe we can see more fights or almost fights? That was intense, Dinwiddie, and what was happening there with Edmonton.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I really am. I honestly, I know that kind of flies against probably most of my commentary, most of my life, but you know what? It's an emotional game, and I don't know the depths of the trash talking that was going on during the game, but for him to react at that level, I could do the conventional, well, he's got to keep his composure, and his team is watching him, but you know what? It's okay. Sometimes go nuts and, don't cross the line and hit anybody, but just get pissed off, get mad. That's okay. Channel it. Go tell them that, look at the scoreboard. That's the best one. That's the trump card of all trash talk, is when you at the end of the game can say, hey, dude, look at the scoreboard. Look at the scoreboard. That's all that matters. And they won it. So he got the last laugh in that one. I can't wait to talk to him. I'm doing his game this weekend, and we're going to Zoom with him tomorrow. And I can't wait to say, hey, coach, I love it. Let's go.
I think the thing that I like about it is that Dinwiddie doubled down on it afterwards. Like, he didn't walk it back. He didn't say, oh, I got a little too hot. He doubled down on it. He's like, I like that he owns his emotions as a head coach, and he's okay to call his guys out. He's okay to be fired up, and he owns it. And that's such a breath of fresh air, because there's lots of guys that would walk it back and be apologetic.
It is, isn't it, Harry? It's kind of like in the political world we live in now, and everybody's canceled for saying something, whatever. You know what?
Yeah.
It's okay. And it's funny because he held that emotion until the game was over. And now if he doesn't have to walk it back, he can go to his team and look them right in the eye and say, guys, just as long as you do that, use that emotion. If they start poking you and they make it personal, then go ahead and use that emotion, channel it, and then you can celebrate and tell them, look at the scoreboard at the end.
All right, Suits. We go at it again on Thursday. We'll figure it out. Any Bob the Bear updates?
Okay, Bob the Bear. Yeah, so I took my dog for a walk this morning.
What's your dog's name?
Maximus. I took him for a walk this morning, and we go through a little trail that's right beside my house here, and walked around, and I can see the trail from my back deck. And we walked around, got on my deck. I was giving him a treat and training him a little bit, and Bob walked by the trail that I was just on 10 minutes earlier, and he walks right by, plowing over shrubs and stuff as he walks by the trail, and I went, oh my goodness. I didn't have my phone at the time, so I couldn't document it, but Bob is still back there, man. There he is, eating apples.
Okay, well, at least he's okay. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. All right, buddy. You'll talk to Sharky.
Hey, real quick, guys. Real quick.
Oh,
we got to have a quick bet. We'll do it on Thursday. We'll talk about it on Thursday, but we have to have a quick bet on the Rams. You guys take the Rams? You want to take the Rams? I'll take the Huskies.
I'll bet.
How do you want to do this?
Yeah, we'll do. I'll take some action. Harry can stay out of it.
Okay.
I don't know.
I can't go Regina being a Saskatoon guy. I
okay, well maybe Harry, you're on my team. We'll figure it out. Because I know you guys are at home in Regina. There, you're saying, okay, think about the bet. Maybe it's a dinner. Huskies, Rams, big weekend.
Yes. If I'm a Saskatoon guy too, but I've been here for 19 years, so I am going Rams. I love the Rams now, even though we have Mason Nias on the show tomorrow. So yes, Huskies win. I owe you a pork missile at the stadium next time I see you. Rams win, a nice maybe Diplomat, Spiro steak, some Greek ribs. That sounds good to me. Talk to you soon. See you, buddy.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Press coverage with Glen Suitor for Bronco Plumbing and Heating. They will treat you right. Never too early to get that furnace looked at, as we're going to start getting into some cold nights in the next little bit. Bronco Plumbing and Heating. We'll take a quick break here. We'll come back with the sports ticker, and we're going to look at the Prince Albert Raiders ahead of this year's WHL season. It's a Sports Cage. We're streaming at sportscage.com through our YouTube channel, and we're on the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
Every Sunday morning, wake up to country music legends on 620 CKRM. Sunday Morning Classics. Celebrate the legends that paved the way and define the heart and soul of country music. Relive the unforgettable classic hits and the legacy of country's greatest artists. Join us this Sunday and every Sunday as we honor the icons who brought country music to life. It's a journey through the rich history of country music. Sunday Morning Classics for Regina Funeral Home and Cemetery. Sundays at 8 a.m. on the Voice of Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
Plan for success in 2026 with the help from the Co-op Grow Team. With the latest on-farm technology, our agronomists will work with you to gather and interpret soil samples, analyze data, and gain more insight into your fields. We offer local expertise and trusted advice to help you plan your inputs and prepare for the unexpected. Get ready to make data-driven decisions with Co-op Ag Zone. Make a successful 2026 crop plan to meet your field's potential. Talk to your Co-op Grow Team today.
The care your family receives in hospitals, schools, and community programs comes from SEIU West members who live in your community. We're united around something simple. When working people have what they need to do their jobs well, everyone benefits. Our conditions of work are your conditions of care. For more information, visit seiuwest.ca.
The Regina Thunder NFL Lottery is back, and tickets are available now. Each $20 ticket gets you the chance to win up to $500 each week of the NFL season. That's 18 chances to win. Tickets are available until October 6th, and you can still win for the weeks already played. No football knowledge needed. Proceeds support the Regina Thunder Student Athlete Scholarship Fund and team operations. Get your tickets at ReginaThunderNFLLottery.com.
Lottery license RR240660.
Get it hot, get it fast, Western Pizza.
Meet Todd. It's noon. He's really hungry, and his stomach makes sure to let him know it.
Todd, we talked about this. No more skipping meals. I need cheese. I need crust. I need Western Pizza.
All right. Western Pizza it is.
Western Pizza. Dine in or take out today before your stomach starts making demands.
And get it hot, get it fast, Western Pizza.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
This is Western Hockey League. We're going to talk it right away with Nick Nielsen from the Prince Albert Raiders, but the Regina Pats have acquired 2007-born forward Dace Durkach from the Raiders in exchange for a 2026 third-round pick. Papa Dale says he's excited to have a veteran player like Dace who brings character and strong work ethic. Awesome trade there for the Regina Pats. Toronto Blue Jays looking for 2 in a row against Tampa Bay. Their magic number is 7. First pitch in just moments here. Sportscage.com poll today. Who is the best Saskatchewan Roughriders quarterback of the last 40 years who has never won a Grey Cup with the team? Vote at Sportscage.com. In hour 3, it's for Regina Steelcraft Doors. Made in Western Canada for Western Canada. You can see them at their new 40,000 square foot location in Regina. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Talking food, talking Westerns with Glen. What was his Seinfeld reference? He just messaged me from the game on Saturday. It was, I'm going to text him right now and ask him.
I knew the second he said it, and I was like so proud of him. But it escapes me what it was. I don't know, but good for him for working it in there.
Western Pizza guest hotline. Nick Nielsen joining us, play-by-play voice of the Prince Albert Raiders up there in beautiful Paradise. I would like to be playing a little Cook golf right now, maybe on the back nine, swinging the wrenches. But Nick, let's talk about the Prince Albert Raiders and going into this season. Just elevator pitch on this team. What can people expect for the Prince Albert Raiders this year?
Well, you want the elevator pitch. I mean, East Division champion from last year, bunch of rookies on the team that are looking even better than they were last year, and the true rookies who are coming in this season are spectacular too. I mean, we've got so much young talent to be excited about here with the Raiders this year. I don't know how you couldn't be excited to be a Raider fan this year. Justice Christensen, our captain from last year, right now gone to Detroit Red Wings camp, but he's going to be back soon, I would think. Max Heisey, who we brought in from the Penticton V's, gone to San Jose Sharks camp. He was drafted there this year. And then, Daxon Rudolph's a guy who looks like he's shaping up to be a first-round pick in the NHL draft, and that going into his 17-year-old year. Brock Cripps and Ben Harvey both look fantastic as 16-year-olds already. So, yeah, there's a lot to be excited about.
Where does Jonah Sievertson fit into this year's Prince Albert Raiders? Won the national championship with the Regina Pats Canadians, Regina boy. He was there early in the season last year. Where do you see him fitting in?
Yeah, so I'm really impressed with what I've seen out of Jonah here in the preseason, and it was last year too. His year last year was kind of an interesting one. I talked to him quite a bit because he went through, I think he was with us for about 14 games at the start of the regular season. He led us in preseason scoring last year, and again this year he's been really good in the preseason when it comes to finding the puck in front of the net. And when I talked to him, when he went and won that national championship with the Patsies, he told me that, he kind of went back and found his confidence in AAA again. That was the big thing he felt like he was missing when he went away from the WHL back to AAA. And now that I've seen him in preseason, now that I've seen him at camp, the way he's competing, the way he's getting involved physically, I think he fits in well to this team. I still think he'll probably be, the bottom 6 area in our forward unit this year. He's still a young guy and still has lots to prove. But he's gonna provide some depth scoring touch for us this year too, and I'm excited to see what he can do. I'm really excited. He's definitely found his confidence from where he was last year, and I hope it translates onto the ice this year for us too.
Trade today. Regina Pats getting Dace Durkach. Fancy that. I was saying a couple months ago, and I think I maybe even asked Dale off camera. I'm like, I think it might have been actually on the show. I said, how do you make a deal with Prince Albert? What's it gonna take? Losing Dace, he had a great season last year. Come with the opposite of Jonah last year, right? He was a little bit injured, then he came in, and then Jonah came back. What is losing a guy like that mean, do you think, to the Raiders?
Yeah, I mean, you said it there. Like, Durkach was the guy who took that spot from Sievertson last year. And I can still remember the first goal he scored where we were in Brandon. I think we were down like 2-0, or maybe it was 3-0 or something like that. And he's not the biggest guy on the ice by any means, but he is the biggest heart on the ice, no question about it. He works like no other player that I've seen. The first goal that he scored was everybody else went for a line change. He goes in on the forecheck and hurries behind the net. Goaltender wasn't expecting it. Lifts a stick, takes the puck away, wrap around into the back of the net. Just one of those goals that happens because he refused to quit on a play. And that's Dace Durkach to a T. I mean, I think off the ice, one of the best human beings you'll find. And actually, I talked to Dale here the other day during a preseason game here, and the Raiders had sent him down released him from the team, and he was played a couple preseason games with the Wolverines in Warman at that time. And I said to Dale, the kid like that is undeniable. He's going to be back here at some point, and unfortunately, when he comes back here to Prince Albert, he'll be wearing a different team's jersey. But he's absolutely the kind of guy you need to have on your team because he just brings so much heart, and I'm going to miss him for sure.
We were talking earlier in the show about the exodus, about CHL losing talent south of the border, but the Raiders managed to kind of bamboozle one coming the other way. What can you tell us about this kid from down south?
Yeah, you're talking Owen Korkish, I'm guessing here, who the Raiders just signed the last little bit. Actually had a great sit-down interview with him today that's going to be going up on Victory Plus, where all the WHL games are streaming this year. And really great kid. Curtis Hunt, their Raiders general manager, called him pure energy, and that's kind of what he does. And you know what we've seen from him, he played high school hockey last year, so there is always that little bit of a caveat of how is an 18-year-old kid, going to go from playing high school down in the U.S. to the faster game here in the WHL. But I don't think his speed is going to be an issue whatsoever. His ability to make one-touch plays and know where his teammates are and get the puck to them quickly and efficiently is fantastic. He's kind of slotted right now, at least what's looked like in preseason. I don't know if it'll continue through the regular season, but our top line last year was Aiden Neuring and Braden Doobie and Tomas Mercic, who is the player the Raiders lost to the NCAA. And Korkish right now is slotted in there. Doesn't have quite maybe the same scoring touch as Mercic had, but definitely has the capability to set his teammates up that is really going to benefit that top line if that's where he stays all season. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he grows too.
Did you see a lot of American kids coming up to camp with the Raiders, giving it a shot like a lot of other WHL teams?
I think we had 7 this year, which is quite a bit higher than what we've had in the past year. I think we had both guys from this year's U.S. draft and a couple of others that we brought in too.
Are you granting any media passes to NCAA scouts? I know that was a big hot button topic.
Well,
is that a question for Huntsy?
That's a question for the league, I think. Actually, I think the league's now put the kibosh on that now with NCAA scouts coming. We're on the topic though, so I'm going to bring it up. I think a lot of people are kind of freaking out about this more than is necessary. I think in the long run, this NCAA situation is going to be good, especially for goaltenders in the long run. You think about what guys are doing when they go to the NCAA now, though. Here in the WHL, you're playing 68 games a season and smaller rosters. You go to college, they're 28-man rosters. They're playing 30 games a year, so there's already half the ice time available when it comes to games on the ice. Now you're also competing with more guys to play, and you're playing against 24-year-olds instead of guys who age out at 20. I think there's going to be some buyer's remorse for some of these guys heading to the NCAA, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a few of them coming back this year.
Ooh, American campuses, tough to beat when you're that age. Tough to beat that. Hey, I love that strip in PA as much as the next guy, but
can't spell paradise without PA, baby.
You know it. So realistically, what would be realistic for the Pats or for the Raiders this year, record-wise, and where do they finish?
I have this team as, fighting for that 40-45 kind of wins this year. I think this is a team that's got a chance to win the division title again here. I think we lost some big pieces last year. I think, the biggest one is in goal with Max Hildebrand, who played 50-some games last year as a 20-year-old. Obviously, that's a big piece to replace. But goaltending-wise, we're looking pretty solid with 3 goaltenders still with us right now. With a young Steel Bass who's come in, who's looked fantastic through camp. Dimitri Fortin, who won a WHL championship with the Moose Jaw Warriors 2 seasons ago and was our backup last year. He looks like he's come with something to prove here this year. And we also brought in a goaltender from Czechia and Mikhail Ursulak, who looks really good as well. And, well, he's 6'4", and that's something you can't teach, right? So, those pieces look really good. I think our young talent, our guys who are coming in as 16-year-olds are further ahead than our scouting staff expected to see at the start of camp. So I think that's going to provide a boost. And then you look at the leadership here, like our 20-year-olds who are coming back. We've still got 4 of them right now. They're all big pieces for this team here too. Justice Christensen, led the league in scoring when it comes to defensemen last year, and he was on our second unit power play. Hardly any of those were on the power play last year. So, yeah, I think this is going to be another strong year for the Raiders.
All right, before we let you go, I know you're from around that Wilkie area. The Nielsen name, the Say name, the Nielsen name. I don't know if there's anybody else actually in the area.
Don't forget the Fenricks. There's the Fenricks.
Okay.
A lot of Fenricks there too.
how about a shutout for that 83-84 Wilkie Outlaws team?
Yeah, absolutely. If you know anything about Wilkie hockey, senior hockey is king there. And, back in the early 80s and into the 90s, those teams won a ton of provincial championships. My dad was a part of them, Les Nielsen, My two uncles, Lauren and Blake Nielsen, as well, part of those teams. And yeah, the 83-84 team that's getting inducted into the Saskatchewan Hockey Hall of Fame. Pretty proud of them. I know my dad's listening in the field here near Wilkie right now as harvest is going on. So, Dad, I love you. Congratulations on another induction to a Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame, because he's in a couple for baseball too. But obviously pretty proud of it. And Joe Say, you mentioned Joe Say. He's the guy, he's the captain on that 83-84 team too. He's probably listening in as well. So congrats, guys.
Wagon country out there in Wilkie. That's what they are. They don't rebuild, they reload in Wilkie.
Exactly.
Hey, Nikki, thanks for doing this. Let's hook up when you're in town calling the game. Best of luck. Safe travels throughout the year, too.
Sounds good. We'll see you next weekend.
Right on. Voice of the Prince Albert Raiders, Nick Nielsen, joining us here on the Western Pizza guest hotline. We're Saskatoon guys who've always had the little jabs to PA and stuff, Harry, but you're just minutes away from there right now. You spend a lot of time up north and all that. I know we talk about the Prince Albert Raiders. That rink, when it's full, and Swift Current would be the similar, kind of a little bit older. That's what it's all about. Like that is what when you think WHL hockey, for me, that's what it's all about.
100%. I would say some of my best memories of Blades games were at the old arena downtown, and just the atmosphere there. You don't appreciate it when you're 8 years old like you do when you're 50 years old, but it's that small barn experience, you just can't replicate it.
And then we talked about the Cook golf course in PA while we're on the subject. And PA, would you put it top? I know maybe top 5 might be tough. Top 10 in the province?
Oh, I would say possibly top 5. I think it's in the conversation. Yeah, I think you could have a discussion about it. The people that get to play that golf course every day are very spoiled.
Yeah,
sure.
And it's always great. It's like the Muni. It's like playing Holiday Park. The municipal, you get a little bit of everything, or Tor Hill or Murray here. It's like you could have a guy in sweatpants and tank top. You could have the guy, and it's such a treat to play. Absolutely love it. Also, the home
during the Northern, we had people cutting through the bushes with bags of cans.
Yeah,
you can get anything.
I remember we were driving the cart once, and all of a sudden a Jeep Compass pulled out of the bush, like right in front of us, and it was the security guards. And I was like, I've never been hit by almost a Jeep on the golf course. It is an absolute gem. Always in great shape. Ryan Wells up there does a great job. It is the Sports Cage. We're talking a little bit of everything. We'll get back into our high school football chat here in moments. We're streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com and always on the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
Sweater weather is here, and winter's not far behind. The last thing you want is your furnace quitting on the coldest night of the year. That's where Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling comes in. Their trained technicians will make sure your furnace is ready to keep you warm all winter long. Fast, reliable, and professional service, so you can enjoy winter without surprises. Book your service or explore their protection plans today at 781-2090 or visit broncoplumbing.com. Bronco, they'll treat you right.
Attention all truck buyers. Harvest the savings on certified pre-owned trucks at Capital GMC. Demand is hot, and we've got the best certified pre-owned trucks in town, fully backed with a 150-plus point inspection and roadside assistance. Rates as low as 4.99% for up to 60 months on select certified pre-owned vehicles. Go to capitalgmc.ca to check out our inventory or call us at 306-525-5211. You can even get pre-approved online. The largest GM dealer in Saskatchewan is Capital GMC Buick Cadillac at Rochdale and Pasqua in Regina.
Yar, do you fancy yourself a bit of a price pirate? Get ready to pillage and plunder Tuesday treasures at Freeze Tallman. It's a treasure trove of clearance items on display at the bow. Or the front of the store. With new items announced on Tuesday, you'll never know the bounty you'll find. Check the website for updates or stop by the store in person. Tuesday treasures. No treasure maps needed. Visit freezetallman.com. Regina location only. Freeze Tallman. Let's get you building.
You know them as TM Auctions, but Terry McDougall and Tam Kostanek would like to introduce their new name, McBids. Now known as McBids, they will continue to proudly serve Saskatchewan. With over 50 years combined experience in the auction and appraisal industry, experience, trust, and transparency are words they live by, and they will continue to do so as they invite you to join them as they continue their journey as McBids. Give them a call at 306-262-6327 or visit McBids.ca. McBids, same trusted team, bold new brand.
This summer, if you're thinking of a new building, think Olympic Buildings. They're engineered from top to bottom to be better than the rest. Strength, solid design, and impressive good looks are all standard on an Olympic farm building. Visit olympic-buildings.ca.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. From skid steers to tents to power tools, anything you need to rent for that summer job is at Prairie Land Rentals. Deal with the owner, 600 Albert Street. This is Sportscage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
For Saskatchewan Lottery is the main fundraiser for sport, culture, and recreation in the province of Saskatchewan. It was great today. We started at hour 1, and did we get text messages? So people, when you think of high school football in Saskatchewan, what names come to mind? Harry graduated high school in 94. I was 95. We ran through a lot of the Saskatoon guys, which ended up being famous around the province. Even before us, you had Dan Farthing, Dwayne Demetrician, Brett Schneider, all that. Ruben Mays in North Battleford was before our time, but he was like the name that people remembered. Out on the west or the Prairie Land Rentals text line, we had Tim Hook, played for Ottawa in the 80s. Not sure where he played high school ball. I'm sure it's in Regina. I think we've had that mentioned again. Bill Baker, Regina Scott Collegiate. Also, Brian Taurus in Moose Jaw, Ron Atchison, Saskatoon. Dating myself. Those are big names. Great coaches as well. Ben Heenan, another great Saskatchewan player, and so is Brendan Labatt. That's from James in Lumsden. Somebody texted in Henry Burris. I'm pretty sure he didn't play high school ball in Regina and Saskatchewan. Maybe there was another Henry Burris. You never know. The products of the KFC buffet in Weyburn. I played with Brennan Labatt and coached Brett Jones, both monsters at every level. More for Dan Clark, Stu Ford, Paul Waldo, Chris Getzlaff. Some of the names that you came up with, you had some really good ones.
Yeah. I mean, the quarterbacks alone, you had Brent Schneider, you had Sheldon Ball, you had Steve Bland, you had Mark Fader, you had Brett Thompson. All quarterbacks that I'm going to say they almost all played with the Hilltops and the Huskies, which
Moose
is
Jaw?
super impressive. Shane Reeder from Moose Jaw. Brian Giebert from Outlook. Went on to play in the CFL as well. Graham Bell, we talked about. Kelly Bates from Humboldt. Just all over, province-wide.
Ryan coming through at 5:51 p.m. I can't believe no one else threw this one out today. We literally probably, and my phone too, I probably had 30 or 40 alone. The Leesons from Hudson Bay.
Oh, yeah.
Good one, Ryan. Yeah, they were good. Both, see, Dano saying both Pictons. Yes. Yeah, that's Bert saying I put my vote in for best QB here. It was sportscage.com. You're forgiven. I thought it was funny, Bert, Henry Burris being from Saskatchewan. I thought maybe there's another Henry Burris. He played six man in Hafford.
In Ituna.
More Dan Clark, all that. I'm trying to think of the ones that caught us off guard. Travis Senton, Colton Solomon, Ryan Wellman, Ben Heenan again, Mark Mueller, Chad Dagelman, Raymore, I guess 6 aside. He was unreal. We had a number as well. The running back position was big, but Neil Hughes, we had that, and then Scott McHenry from Saskatoon, Holy Cross. Then I think he went Holy Cross straight Huskies. He didn't even do junior ball, if I remember correctly.
No, he went right to U of S.
Tony Chad.
They snatched him up pretty quick.
Tony Chad was the running back. I remember that grade 11 year up there. Tony Chad and Sheldon Duvall. Tony Chad was Cross. Sheldon Duvall was Murray. And then it was Williamson and Kelly McNairn, you mentioned?
Yeah. Yeah, Marion Graham. Yeah. There's lots of guys that were really good standout high school players that just for whatever reason never played Hilltops or never played university, but they were just dominant at the high school level. And I mean, Tony Chad and Sheldon Duvall would be two of those guys that legends in that high school era.
We had a Brian Harrison from Riffle, Mike Smith from Tom, Connor Cisco, Jared Fry, Chris Rasmussen from Winston Knoll, Sawyer Butner from Peacock, Travis Kuntz, Tyson Schroeder. I said Jimmy Box up in Saskatoon at Bedford was really good. Kelly Boyle from Mount Royal.
One of the ones that we mentioned was Mark Klaus. One of those guys that we covered at Global that we thought that this kid was the real deal, and then he just got bitten by injuries, both at the high school level and at the university level. But like 321 yards and 3 touchdowns in his final game as a high school senior, like those are ridiculous numbers. I don't care who you are. If you're rushing for over 300 yards, you are a legitimate athlete.
That was
at that level, regardless of the level.
It was funny because we're working Global, which was, you look back at it, I can't believe they gave us a half-hour sports show, and we were like, 20, we're 23, 24 years old, if that. And we're playing in the men's touch league, which was competitive. And I remember covering high school games and being like, oh, this kid's in grade 12. If he doesn't go play junior Huskies, I'm going to try and track down his number. The pre-cell phone days, some weirdo from Global calling someone's parents. Hey, is your son around? Roger Aldag, again, we had a lot. We've had a lot. Yes, we did mention John Ryan as well. Kennedy Nikiasen is one that I remember being in Saskatoon and just word on him down in Regina. Mike Rooney, Moose Jaw Peacock coming in, Joey Hertz from Kindersley Cobras. Hilltops 70. He played Hilltops 74, 75. We're going way back there. That's Roscoe up in Kindersley and K-Town giving us a little. Yeah, so thanks to everyone who sent that in today. I kind of figured when I texted you this morning, I was dropping my son off at high school, and I'm like, here's a topic. This would be great. And I knew you were coming on with me, and we would have a lot of fun. You can go back and listen to the show in podcast form if you missed any of it. It was a busy one, too. We talked about that a lot. John Keane, voice of the Kamloops Blazers and host of the Blaze podcast at John Keane NL Sports. Great follow on Twitter. He was with us in hour one. We talked about the WHL, NCAA, CHL thing. John had shed some light on that. Arash Madani in hour two. We talked about the Riders. We talked about the CFL there. Dennis Beyak, legendary play-by-play voice, who's going to be at the Western Canada Professional Hockey Scouts Foundation celebrating Indigenous hockey on September 30th at the Connexus Arts Center. Tickets are still available. Table of 8 because of Boss Lubricants, just $1,100, $150. Jordan Tutu, Brian Troche, John Morasti, Ron DeLorme, the King brothers. Joey Tedorenko now added. Rich Pilon, lots of great stories there. Glen Suitor joined us in hour 3, and then you just heard Nick Nielsen, voice of the Prince Albert Raiders. Harry, it's been a while. Always a pleasure when you get to do this. Now, can you get in 9 holes? What is it, 6 o'clock? Sun stays up a little longer up north.
It does. I played 2 balls this morning, so I got my rounds in for the day.
I don't even know where my golf clubs are.
First off, 8 a.m., 2 balls.
Waskasiu?
All day. You bet.
Oh.
Same thing tomorrow morning. 8 a.m., first off, Probably played 2 balls.
Yeah. 8 a.m. I'm driving a load full of hockey guys to Martin Academy. That's how my day rolls. Buddy, thanks so much. Maybe again next week. Or what do you got?
How about the career PIMS for that conference, for that dinner, that banquet? That is a lot of PIMS in one location. That is impressive stuff.
That is going to be
unreal.
That's going to be right. Maybe next week, because you and I need to talk Ryder Cup when it's coming up here. Is it 2 weeks or next weekend?
Last weekend. 26th weekend.
Bethpage Black. I saw Rory ripping it off the first hole there today. Thanks so much, Harry. Always a pleasure, buddy.
Yeah, anytime. As
right
always.
On. I'm back tomorrow. Thanks to Saskatchewan Lotteries, our sponsor today. Thanks to Colson for everything. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Saskatchewan's own Hunter Brothers are bringing the Homegrown Nights Tour to the Connexus Arts Centre Thursday, November 27th. Those were the nights. 5-time CCMA nominees. Born and raised in Shaunavon, these brothers know how to light up a stage. And they're bringing special guest Shantea to crank it up even higher. Tickets go on sale Friday, September 19th at 10 a.m. Hunter Brothers Homegrown Nights Tour, November 27th. Get your tickets at connexusartscenter.ca. See you at the center.
Yar, do you fancy yourself a bit of a price pirate? Get ready to pillage and plunder Tuesday treasures at Freeze Tallman. It's a treasure trove of clearance items on display at the bow or the front of the store. With new items announced on Tuesday,